Bible shining, it brings the sun out at night, and I see the rain, and I needed to depart from my sight. You gotta hold the line in order to endure in this fight. And you know you gotta hold your head and gotta keep your chin high. It's a lot of pain we endure in this life. Keep the laws and the faith in Christ, you'll be winning. You will be winning. You gotta hold your head and gotta keep your chin high. It's a lot of pain we endure in this life. Keep the laws and the faith in Christ, you'll be winning. You will be winning when it's rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. Have to endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining.
Open my eyes, call me to see. When I wanna cry, but can't let them see. I need strength, I need power, I need lightning, thunder showers. I need warmth when it gets cold, cause I've been warring for my soul, and it's been pouring. I won't fold, but it gets heavy and hard to hold. Lost in the dark, tearing apart. Then I remember that I was chose, son of the king. I gotta believe, I build up my faith. I gotta read, I gotta conquer. Never concede, not bending the knee. I stand on my feet. Gotta keep the laws and the faith in Christ. It's a lot of pain to endure in this life. See the clouds in the sky, rain coming. So I hold my head high, no more running. Planted, and I'm rooted in the spirit. Send up prayers, can you hear me? Lord, I need your healing, healing. Rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. Have to endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Rain, rain, rain on my window pane. I feel the darkness outside. I need it to go away. Joy comes with the morning light. Wipe the tears off of my face. Have to endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining. Endure when it's raining.
And he took the damsel by the hand and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. Wake up! Wake up! Talitha cumi. Talitha cumi. Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of your sleep, and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of your sleep, and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of your sleep, and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek. Wake up out of your slumber, wake up out of your sleep, and receive His Spirit. You know I'm talking to the meek.
Yo, resurrected, elected from the grave. I ain't worried about a demon defeating me, not today. I'ma stand on my feet with the meek. We on the way. Dry bones in the valley. I'm rallying for the save. Dry bones in the valley. Living but underpaid. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We need change. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We feel shame. Holy Spirit, make your presence known. We need flames.
As hard as these words words is simply just the canvas that I wrote on. Can't supplement the faith, no creatine, but it's so strong. In our youth, we used to hit the block, getting our roll on. Now we take the gospel to the blocks, we so dope on. Those that tried to stop our faith, we told them so long. The rise of my people with these heathens trying to prolong. Been through so much, but we still gotta hold on. Like back when the lights was off, we turned the stove on. Searching for warmth in these cold streets. Oh, since we woke up the truth, we can't get no sleep. My thoughts so deep, trying to get my folks to see the picture, but we hitting rock bottom, trying to wrestle with the scriptures. It's crazy, demonic forces messing with your mental health. Got all five senses, but you still lack sense of self. Without the Lord, your life sagging, gon' get a belt. And like that old Jordan commercial, stop and get some help.
Please, W-A-K-E-U-P, open up your KJV. We shaking up the world so you can't stay asleep. When you open up your eyes, they see IUIC, we on our grind. Bring a light to the world, let a star shine. So we pray without ceasing for our kind. Gotta stack them up to the third heaven.
It's that time again. Yeah. Ya es la hora. You know, power hour. Ponle atención, classes in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching shit. Everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit, yeah. That mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. There's one interpretation, man, it say what it say. Ya venía el tiempo, entra para el templo. Aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida. Nunca se divida. Tune in, it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah. Tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it in history. Power hour. The 11th hour. You gonna get to history. 11th hour. Power hour.
Yeah, now you rockin' with the deacon while you waiting on the weekend. From the tribe of Ephraim, but don't call them Puerto Rican. That's a byword, those ain't names, it's God-given. Fighting from oppression to saving all guys, chilling, giving light to the people. Don't let the devil beat you when you have at your disposal all these leaders that can teach you how to fight fornication, eat in moderation, correcting all these marriages and self-examination. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. You probably sleeping if you thinking this is not war. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. Just tune in and we gon' tell you what to watch for. Yeah, the power hour. You know, it's the power hour. Yeah, the power hour. Yeah.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus. Yeah. Can you, I probably should have up a little bit. Testing. All right, that's better. What's going on, y'all?
We back. Can y'all hear me?
Nah, not really.
1 2 1 2.
Sounds low on my side too.
Yeah.
Let me turn y'all up.
Yeah, let us know.
No, you don't got to turn me up no more. I was good where I was. Why are you touching my?
No, I think I turned them up. I think yours is the first one.
He's the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I mean, it barely registers in there, but it is what it is. We're starting late today because you guys didn't show up on time, so it's appropriate that your mics wouldn't be working properly. I'm Deacon Yashua, by the way.
Officer Asher.
Officer Ruve.
Officer Tobias.
Wow, yours actually sounds all right for the first time in weeks.
Man.
I showed up on time.
Bro, you walked in like after.
I was here early.
So how come you weren't in here so that you could do the sound
I had
test?
to wait for Officer Othani to search and do everything they were doing. But I was here on time. So my mic works.
I don't know. We got to reassess this whole process.
I was here early.
Man.
I don't know what's going on. See,
I'm back though.
Yeah, we in
the
thing.
It's been what, like
Let's go.
3 weeks?
2 weeks. No,
Oh,
it's
okay,
2
2
weeks,
weeks.
bro. Relax. Relax.
It just seems like a while.
I mean, we could have had a live show last week, but you decided to go off on some adventures. Dude, tell us where you were.
Right.
Tell us where you were, Officer Asher.
So I went to the east. I went to Savannah.
Right.
Then I went to South Carolina.
Okay.
Where I ended up seeing some officers. Captain REA ended up being there.
Okay, he's already full of crap.
Right.
Hey, shout out! Someone said the clothing line is fire. They
All
love
praises.
it. They loving the new OR stuff. Yeah, all praises. We've been getting a lot of good feedback on that. We'll talk about that when we get to our segment. So I don't know. I have a term. I don't know if I'm the originator of it. I think I'm the first one to have said it. All right. It's called cupcaking. All right. It's called cupcaking. Right. And whether it was me, whether it was of God, I don't know where the term came from, but I know it's at least proliferated with myself. So Asher trying to be slick,
Man, like
you can't fully trust somebody like that. Now I'm looking at him sideways.
oh snap.
The smile though.
That was his chance to lead the right way and say what it was. He tried to go all around the block and act like he went over there to visit brothers. He got like no ties to there.
Dang.
Except for one thing. So Asher, David knows what's up. He went to Cupcake.
Right.
And remember, I've gotten over things where I said, like, dating is not really our thing or whatever. But I don't know, these brothers, sisters, I get it. They remember, like, just the psychology of how they raise and stuff. They need that.
Right.
But I'm seeing grown men that feel the need to go cupcake, which is like to go date the sisters that they're proving. Like, they got to go on ice cream dates, movie, cotton candy,
Damn.
sharing popcorn.
Oh shit.
Touching knees together, right? Oh, everybody putting the cupcakes.
That's crazy.
So Officer Mike, in honor of Officer Asher, let's give him his theme song.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit. It's
So
a
you got
theme
a song?
I don't know what this is.
You are my honey bun, sugar plum, pumpy pumpkin. You're my sweet
This is atrocious.
Drops, you're the apple of my eye. And I love you so, and I want you to know that I'll always be right here. And I love to sing two songs to you.
This is crazy.
Because you are so dear.
With the bars.
Bruh.
With the bars.
That is the Cuppy Cake song,
Cuppy cake.
and it is now yours. My gift to you is I dedicate this song to your cupcaking ways.
Jesus.
What do you have to say about that, sir?
Right now I'm speechless because I don't want to be attributed to such a song and displays.
You see, I was gonna give you mercy if you would have led right, and I wasn't gonna play the song. But you started with your BS talking about he went to visit the brother here, he went to do this there.
I was gonna
It's like-
get that. I was hitting the highlights.
Nah, bro.
I was hitting the
Nah, bro.
highlights.
That's yours now.
Oh man.
And any other brother that cupcakes.
Oh God.
Damn.
Look, I'm not saying don't go do it. You want to go and, whatever.
Right.
I'm just like, damn, bro. Like my man had to take a plane in this economy.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? Days off of work.
Ice could have hemmed you up.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, that's a lot of expenses, bro, to go have some ice cream.
Yeah.
Damn. And then you knew he was cut because he's cupcaking out there, and then he's texting us. And I told him, stop texting us. You went all that way to cupcake with the sister.
Damn.
I said, at least give her your undivided attention. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell he was conflicted in his spirit. He all texting us. I said, why are you texting us when you're with the sister?
Right.
What's wrong with you? At least do it right if you're going to go cupcake. You know? But anytime Brother Cupcakes, we're going to play that song. Well, Asher was the original. It's bestowed upon you.
This would be on me for some time now. But
Yeah, you see his face. He's looking at it. He's like,
I'm like, what am I looking at?
he calling me all types of names in his head. He's like, yo, man, Deke be.
Yeah, That video.
It's been a while since Deep put something on me.
That video.
It's been a minute.
What do you mean? Like a few weeks? I mean, we always putting stuff on you.
No, this is extra. This is new. Cupcake, weird song I
Cuppy
never
cake.
heard.
Cuppy cake.
What the heck?
The Cuppy Cake song, fam.
Jeez.
I have to say, I just thought of it when I got here and I saw you.
Damn.
Right.
And see, did you even? I don't even think you put it on the chat. So this must have been sent to Nathaniel.
Oh, it was a conspiracy.
It was a. I knew it. I was like, well, I didn't even see that on the chat.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you.
I would have gave the thumbs down.
I didn't want to give you any. I didn't want to give you any indication.
Hey, Officer David said, "See, this is why you just gotta own the cupcake.
Just own it. Just own the cupcake.
Own
bro.
the cupcake.
Just own the cupcake.
You're my sweetie pie.
Sound bites for days.
Oh my Jesus!
Sound bites for days. Anyway,
I'm
let's do our housekeeping. Come on.
Cooked.
Oh snap, man! I don't know how we gonna top the cupcake, man. But let's get back to some manly stuff. Can we get to the manly badge of dignity? Claude, have mercy.
Let's go.
Deke, what's the center tonight?
I'm doing roast sandalwood.
Okay,
In the
Deke,
building.
okay.
My daughter said it's she says it's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm sorry. I said, does it smell bad? She was like, no, it's just real, like it's potent.
It is,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
And I was like, and I was noticing it too, like as I'm walking around the house,
Right.
You know, because I showered up before the show and everything, and I put it on. I said,
Mm-hmm.
damn, okay. So I was like, I thought, you know, like sometimes you put it on, and it's like too much.
Yep.
But I don't really throw that much. I was like, damn, that's wild.
Right.
But that goes to show you it's good quality.
Yes.
The
Right?
bomb or the oil?
I did the oil and the bomb.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I do the butter. I do the butter. You're a bomb guy. I'm
Yeah.
past bomb.
Yeah, he's
The
past
oil, because the
bomb.
oil is very
Past
potent.
bomb. I'm past bomb.
He's
bro.
a post-bomb prophet.
Bomb is when you got the little hairs all over the place. Like, you know, that's
Confused.
When you're not cupcaking no more.
yeah. I don't want to talk about your
Oh,
cupcaking
gosh.
anymore.
Oh God. Okay, but yeah, that roast sandalwood. That's one of my go-tos. right
Yes,
there.
yes.
Yep. Officer Asher, what you got?
I got the mahogany spice.
Mahogany
bomb.
spice.
Bombs.
Bomb. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still bombing.
All right. All praises. Officer Tobias.
The roast sandalwood.
Man, I'm telling you, it's a staple.
That's all he got left.
Fire.
Nah, don't do him like that. Don't do him like that.
But I was riding my bike today. You know I'm still on the bike.
Right. Uh-huh.
It was hot because you know it's heating up.
Uh-huh.
So I had the bamboo teak washed too,
Oh, okay.
and it worked.
Yeah, I know. Tobias came in smelling pretty nice. When I saw him in the hallway, I was
Yeah.
like, damn, looking all professional. He
Right.
had his slacks on still
Slacks.
and his dress shoes. I said, okay, all
Ain't
right.
breaking a sweat.
I said, damn, don't sell me nothing now. You know,
Right.
looking like he ready to.
About to go in on you.
All praises, all praises.
Trying to sell you a timeshare.
Right.
I tried a little something different.
What'd you go with?
I went out on a limb. Moroccan mint.
Hey, the Moroccan mint is very nice.
Man.
I think people sleep on the mint ones.
Uh-huh.
Very nice, bro. The Moroccan mint's a good one. Right.
I am
Yeah,
thoroughly
yeah.
surprised.
Yeah. I have the tester of it, like
Okay.
just trying it out, and I do like that one occasionally, the Moroccan mint. Good scent.
All praises.
Nice
Hey,
stuff, bro. Listen, you're gonna throw on the premium gear,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? You need the other elements. You need
That's
the
right.
layers, right? To
No,
layer
that's
that thing
facts.
out. You
That
know?
is facts.
So you throw on the premium gear, you want to smell nice too. It's just the whole thing goes together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And then when you feeling all manly with your manly badge of dignity on, got to smell
Yeah.
good, you don't feel bad about owning the cupcake.
Yeah.
Like you in there. You focused.
Yeah. Like you ain't worried about no cupcake.
Man. Hey. But speaking of premium gear, you know, Original Royalty been stepping their game up. And shout out to the marketing team. Let's get this video real quick. Check this commercial out.
There's a feeling you recognize when you walk into a room.
Wait a second. Stop for a second. Who's
I know,
that?
yeah, I know that artist.
Who's that voice?
Is this a plug?
That don't even.
The auto tune. I don't know what you did with that
Wait,
voice.
I got caught flat-footed on that one.
Lord have mercy.
Can somebody else other than Ruvain do the voiceovers, bro?
Yeah.
Pipe down, brother. Pipe down.
I feel like it feels like it's a skit from like Mad TV or Saturday Night Live for me.
Damn.
With the weight, because you know, like he did one and it was his regular voice.
Right.
So I was like, all right, that's legit.
Right.
I don't know what's going on here right now, y'all. Okay.
Damn.
He
Pay-
tried to hit the 10.
I don't want to take away from the quality of the commercial,
Damn.
Dang it.
They didn't even wait to after the
but
video.
that voiceover,
He paused that
You
joint.
could tell he just changed his whole
Right.
like his vibrato, his pitch.
That's his.
Well, you
code.
know
what I'm
got,
saying?
You got voice.
See, that don't
actors.
sound. See, this is how he sounds.
Right.
Now play the commercial.
Run it back.
Getting cooked.
Of course, you like the voiceover, sis. That's the voice that he cupcakes on the phone with you with.
Boy.
Go ahead.
There's a feeling you recognize when you walk into a room.
Why he sound like Ralph Tresvant? Look, hey, he don't know. The youngin' don't know. Why he sound like Ralph Tresvant, yo? Yo,
man.
tell me that's not Ralph Tresvant. Man, which is the song where he talked? Is it Can You Stand the Rain? There's a talking part with Ralph Tresvant. That's exactly how he sound. I'm sorry. That's who it is. I couldn't peg it.
Oh, shoot.
That is not your voice, Ruvain. Stop it.
He about to use AI.
I'm sorry. Play. Go ahead. Play the.
Oh my God.
Oh snap! That's Ralph Tresvant.
He getting cooked.
But go ahead. Play it. Play it.
There's a feeling you recognize when you walk into a room and see your people not competing, just aligned. Before the trend, there was truth. Before the noise, there was knowing. We've always been the blueprint. Style didn't begin on runways. It began in lineage, rhythm, royalty. Fine threads soft against the skin, crafted with intention, designed with us in mind. A quiet inheritance worn well. And when you look around, you remember, we were never basic. Original royalty. For the royal, not the regular.
Damn. Hey, that's a fire commercial. Except for the Ralph Tresvant thing. You know what I'm saying? Except for the Ralph Tresvant, but that's a flame commercial, man. Hey, and what's the name of the coffee shop? Because I wanna give props. We actually filmed that in the community in a black-owned coffee shop.
Yeah,
right.
We did.
You know, with Starbucks and Better Buzz and all these corporate things on the rise.
yeah.
We highlighted a black-owned coffee shop to try to go ahead and give them a little representation as well, and then show the diversity in there with our people. That commercial was fire, bro. That was fire. Now, if you'd have just done that in your regular
With all of us in mind.
Yo, I should have watched it before you played it. I played it with no sound, and I was like, okay, it looks dope. But if I would have heard the sound, bro, I'd have probably told you what is with that voiceover.
Oh man.
Oh, that's the Quiet Storm voice. Hey, fire commercial, fire apparel. That's what's up. What's the name of the coffee shop?
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Grassroots in
And,
Phoenix.
Yes.
In Phoenix,
downtown, near downtown.
Yeah, all praises. Nice looking
Shout
little
out
shop.
to Sister Nayava. She's the one who actually found them.
Wow, all
Yeah,
praises.
that's
All right.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
look at that ingenuity. Shout out to Sister Nayava. Fire. Shout out to Ruvain and the marketing team and everybody helping him out with all the concepts for that. That was dope, except for the voice. I think he needs a little cupcake action too, Officer Mike, for that Ralph Tresvant voice. You might need to give him a little cupcake.
Oh, snap.
Give him a little cupcake. Y'all gotta have that one ready, bro.
You're my sweetie pie.
That's all right. I'll own it, though.
Oh man.
Snap.
Dick
Yeah,
is cooking everybody today.
it's been. I had the week off.
He had a lot to think about.
Had the week off. So my original point was, Asher or Job usually will back me up for the show, right? Job is like in bondage now with his job. Okay. So I can't be mad at him for that, but he just in bondage with his job. And then Asher decided to go gallivant and have ice cream.
Gallivant.
And then I had to pull out the show at the last minute. And I said, all right, we got to do a replay because he's over here freaking cupcaking.
I'm back, Deke.
Yeah, we'll see.
And you know what? I'm going hard today.
Yeah.
No Diddy.
Cupcake gumdrops.
What I mean is, as we go through the class and I find the proper precepts, I'm going to back you up. We're going to do our thing. All right? We're going to do it.
Lordy,
Gallivant.
The apple of my eye.
Yeah, let's look up the definition of gallivant. That's not a
is
regular
crazy.
word. I'm sorry, man. I didn't have tablets. I don't think I got a game system. I think we had a Genesis for like a week before they burglarized my apartment.
Dang.
In the projects. So I didn't have entertainment, so I had to read.
Shoot.
So look up gallivant so they can understand what the word is. I know they'd be like, yo, D dropping some words.
Right.
I gotta look up. I apologize. I gotta keep the vernacular. Gallivant.
Gallivant. Go around from one place to another in the pursuit of pleasure or entertainment.
Oh, geez.
Damn.
That's actually
That was
a word.
It was a great word, right?
That was
a
excellent.
great word.
That was
It's a great word.
That was excellent.
This
So I'm
dude was
basically
gallivanting and couldn't cover the show.
I'm a pilgrim
Damn.
No.
of pursuit.
No, it doesn't say that at all.
I just say it's not even a.
It
Yeah.
says to gad, to flit, to run, roam,
To
or
jaunt.
wander.
That's another one. You're jaunting.
Dang.
You're jaunting. Right? Jaunting. Hey, my monitor is off, man. Like there's nothing on it. Is it something with the connection? I haven't seen. And there we go. Maybe I just did it there. All right. And then my eyes is starting to go a little bit, so I couldn't see those letters on the screen from here. But right. Roam around. I roam around. I pay attention. You remember that from A Living Color?
Nope.
Back in the day, you do. You're in my age bracket, right? You remember that?
Yeah, y'all relate to everything with the shows and the music. You knew exactly who was talking about with that song, huh? Or with that artist.
Well, when I said Ralph Tresvant,
Why
bro,
you crying, bro?
How do you not
Why
know?
you crying?
It's funny.
Bro, how do you not know New Edition?
Bro, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? I leave on 5.
I think BET did a movie on them. It was fantastic. You should go watch it. The
On,
New Edition story.
On who he
On
sounded
New
like?
Edition, yes.
New Edition.
Yes.
You play a song. He knows New Edition. You know New Edition. Okay, bro.
Bro, I forget that he baby.
If it ain't Suave Mente,
Cupcake baby. Cupcake baby. Cupcake baby. The pictures definitely gave gallivanting vibes.
Thank you.
Right. And then he tried to make that thing sound official.
Right.
He gallivanted. Oh my goodness. You know what it is that I missed y'all. Like I think I've said this on a show a while back, and I know some people don't get it. Women don't really roll like that, so I think it's hard for them to get it. But men in close circles, like we talk crap to each other.
Right,
that's how we
right.
bond.
We
That's
do it
how
all
we
the
bond.
time.
We talk crap
Yeah.
to each other. And we can do it to each other, but don't you try to come and talk sideways about, somebody that's in the circle. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna look out,
Right.
So I know some people outside looking in, like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But
Right.
there's a certain subset. It's like in 300.
Right.
Yep.
Where you see the clip where they're giving each other crap. You know what I'm saying and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Standing on all the bodies.
But they ready to die for each other.
Right.
So that's it. Now, because I know there's been some sensitive. Sometimes I see some sensitive remarks.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty mild. I think at least
Live.
on camera.
Right,
Yes,
right,
on
right.
camera.
Right.
This is true.
Right.
This is very true.
I'm aware enough that I'm pretty mild on camera. Like what people see on camera, I'm
Yeah,
I'm worse
right.
when we're like together in closeness. And people make comments sometimes about, oh, why you said this? Why you said that?
They don't know you when we on the travel bands out the country.
Oh yeah, that's
or the after dinner war. Oh man, yo,
Right.
Deacon. Once he looks at you for like 3 seconds, he's about to say something.
You cooked.
And then Captain Zeph got the backup joke. Captain Abiel's laughing. Oh man, he cooking. He cooking
Right.
somebody. He cooking
Right.
somebody.
Anyway, so let's move on to our segments. Now you need the talking part. That was good though. That was good.
What is happening?
That was good.
Oh,
Can you stand the rain?
That is
That's a
hilarious.
dope song.
Oh, that's
though.
the
Classic
song.
though.
That's
He
a
said,
dope
"Oh, that's a
song.
song."
That's a dope song. All right, let me see what clips I want to show. We're gonna get to the main topic. I'll tell you right now, we started late. On top of that, I had way too much stuff. See what happens when I don't do the show? I keep building
It piles
material.
up. Yeah.
And as it was, I think I still had a lot of stuff prior to that. So I had to narrow the focus because last time I spoke about Iran and some other stuff.
Oh,
And there's
yeah.
so much going on. I want to talk about a lot of stuff today. But I'm gonna try to keep it focused because nobody yet that I've really seen is talking heavily about Cuba as far as IUIC shows and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's lost a little attention. So I'm gonna give it some spotlight. And then maybe some of the other stuff I'll talk about I don't know. It's just, man, it's a lot of stuff.
Every day.
That's
It's
a lot of news.
It's a lot of Jews.
It's definitely a plus
It's a lot of
day.
stuff. It's a lot of stuff with a lot of Jews.
It's a lot of Jews.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
Jews.
a lot of Jews.
A lot of Jews. They definitely, they definitely being revealed. Like even non-believers are seeing them for what they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as a matter of fact, there is one that I'll put. I'm gonna send it to y'all. All right. I don't know if y'all want to say something while I look for this to send it to him. On that vein, they looking to you, Ash. Are you cupcaking on the side there? Like,
I was thinking, I was saying, you know what? Should I try to use a scripture to basically justify my gallivanting?
We still on that?
But you say, you know what? I can't think. I just gotta own it.
bro,
I gotta take
you're
it.
not coming back. That's because that's what you were doing. Even the evidence online shows
Dang,
that.
oh my God.
He did it.
Oh my God.
That's
Why
what
I
he
gotta
was
be
doing.
Why I gotta be a pink cupcake, man? You could
That's
have
what he was-
put up a manly brown cupcake or something.
You're
A black
my
cupcake or something.
That's the birthday cake, puppy cake. Dang
Hey,
it.
hey, get Romans real quick, 13 verse 11. Romans 13 verse 11, because Deacon did make a great point in regards to Cuba not really being covered, and we forget about Cuba because it's a small island. They've been a dictatorship for so long, so the people miss. The people don't really regard Cuba because they're not worried about the people that's there. But let's see what Romans 13:11 says.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So we know the times that we're in. We see Israel being revealed as the wicked, right? Or the ones that say that they're Israel, who are really Amalek, all right? The so-called white man claiming to be us.
Right.
We see them being revealed through the wars. We see them being revealed through the evil. All the stuff that's being showed on social media, all this is showing that this man is evil. Just think about all the stuff that's going on is being put in the forefront. The Bible says, knowing the time, that it is high time to awake out of sleep. So all you guys that are out there, all you sisters that are out there, y'all got to recognize the stuff that's going on right now is showing proof that we are in these last days. Esau's being revealed. He's being manifest. And he's showing to be the wicked of the earth. Cuba ain't being spoken about, but it's going to be spoken about right now. And we're going to expose all the evil that they've been doing to Cuba, that they've been doing to Cuba since way back. Because I know Deacon had posted some stuff that's going to show some stuff from way back. Right. So this ain't nothing new.
Right.
They've been doing this, just like they've been doing it with Venezuela and the other countries as well.
That's
All right.
That's a great pick. Great pick.
Hey, so show this. So I was saying there's so much going on. I'm not going to be able to get into too much of this other stuff too heavily because I want to narrow the focus so I could cover it. It's amazing to me how I'm still able to I was thinking about it driving over here, how casually, the show is supposed to be 2 hours, right? But, we take the
It never
liberty
is.
sometimes because we don't really have anybody behind us because we're the last show on Wednesdays.
Right.
And we go a little over. Right. And I was just thinking about how fast the time flies. And I know our opening segments, anywhere from 45 to an hour, but that's part of people like some of those things. That's part of what we do. And then we switch gears. But the point is I could easily probably do 6 hours on some of these topics.
And feel like it's 3.
And feel like it's 3, right?
Yeah,
exactly,
it just
right?
flies.
So what I'm saying is that what you're seeing now, I was talking with Bishop the other day, just periodically we talk and, we're talking about some other stuff. And I just told him how, it's so crazy that my head is spinning with so much information, right? Like the mouth of the dragon is on levels that we haven't seen. And I don't want to go too far because I want to do my segments. I'm just going to show this one piece. And then remind me to come back to the mouth of the dragon because there's something that I sent you. It's an Instagram link from the Humanity Archive. And I posted some scriptures that go into that as well. And I will go into that before I go into the Cuba thing, right? But I wanted to show this one piece because, there's so much happening from week to week that I want to say that I'll go over stuff that I don't have like you guys don't even know what I'm not going over because of all the content that I've sent in,
Right.
where we try to gather this on the page, and it's a lot. And shout out to IT. I'm not always the most organized. In the moment, I'll see something and I drop it to them, and they do a pretty good job of trying to catalog it for me. So I know a lot of times, sometimes I try to number it and let them know. A lot of times I'm just like, pull this, pull that, And then they do a good job because they'll hear me say something and they'll remember something. So, they also got to screen a lot of the content.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is a lot. It is
Download.
demanding. So, I know I get on them and stuff like that, but,
They do their thing.
yeah.
Shout out to
Shout out to our
Sanctions.
team. They don't need no
Down.
back rubbing and stuff like that. All right. But,
Right.
because then they'll
Can't
get
do
soft.
too much.
No, you got to stay. You got to be rough with them,
Iron sharpens iron.
Right. But the world at large, even non-believers, are starting to see the lie and the blasphemy, right?
Right.
Of them that say they're Jews and are not, right? Look at this post, right? And it goes to show you, because you even got Edomites and non-believers like hip to what's happening, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
David Friedman. Last night, Tucker Carlson acknowledged, as a Christian, the biblical mandate to bless Israel, but suggested that the government of Benjamin Netanyahu was not biblical Israel.
Right.
Damn.
So he's saying it sarcastically, this David Friedman guy, because he's a fake Jew. And he's saying, it's one thing when we say it, right? Because as far as the world's concerned, we're the base things, right?
Right,
We're
niggas.
we're niggas and spicks,
Right.
right? So they don't really, they're like, whatever. We're just being racist. But now you got other white people saying the same thing,
Right.
and they want to watch Tucker Carlson, bro. They might.
Man.
Yeah,
for real,
man.
though.
Hey, he's
Bro,
been.
I never thought I would say it, but some of the stuff he talking about, I've been reading
Right.
his post on Facebook and everything. I hated him when he was he on Fox?
He was
I,
on Fox,
but,
right?
but I hated him when he was on Fox because he just has such a way about him. He was like such a prick.
Pompous. Very
Condescending,
pompous.
arrogant.
But it goes to show you that like you can listen to some people. You can't just go and say whatever. He's actually seeing certain things,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, and he's hard-body Christian. A lot of these guys are.
Right.
So my point is, I don't agree with everything that he says, but he's making some very good points. And it's one thing when you hear it from somebody with that level of credibility,
Right.
is the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Max Kellerman.
Mm-hmm.
He's the ESPN guy. He worked with Stephen A. lot. I used to listen to him in New York heavily. They had a when I was stuck in traffic driving home from work.
Talk show.
I think he was on in the morning, and I used to listen to Michael Kay in the evening. That's when I was heavy into sports and stuff like that. And I liked Max Kellerman, right? Until when the truth started spreading a little bit through the NFL and some people were making statements. There was a segment he did some years back, and he tried to say it nicely, but he said that a lot of these athletes, and this was before Kyrie, this was when the football players started saying stuff,
Right.
that they get low quality information. But he was basically saying that it comes from niggas and spicks. Because Max Kellerman grew up in New York and he wanted to be like us. He has like rap videos and stuff like that. So he was one of those that wanted to culturally appropriate
Right.
a lot of stuff. He tried to get into rap and things like that. Anyway, there was a segment with him and Stephen A. and he was talking about that the whole thing about the identity of blacks, Hispanics, Native Indigenous, those that meet the curses being Israelites. He was like, that's low quality information, right? And I understood what he was saying between the lines. I say all that to say, now you have people that sit in a platform with a certain level of credibility saying this. And now, while they won't say that we're the Israelites, they're at least acknowledging, and even they can see
Who's not there?
who's not.
Right.
Who's not the biblical Israel. I had a whole segment that I wanted to go over with the DNA piece. I think I sent some of that stuff too, if I'm not mistaken. But then that'll take me away from the Cuba stuff, right? So there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Like I could have done a marathon today, like with all the information that we have. But people got work tomorrow. I got work tomorrow. Everybody, I'm not gonna do that. Well, Tanya's like, thank God, I gotta drive an hour,
right.
and I'm light on the team tonight.
Yeah, he's already tired too. He's sleepy.
So Tucker Carlson, right, who I never thought I would listen to anything he has to say, he's making some points, right? He's making some points. So now you see Ted Cruz, which I don't want to automatically say somebody that disagrees with us might not be Israel. When I did a class about that, I said you can't just blanket say that. Remember, there's Herodians, there's bourgeoisie.
Right.
There's those of our people. Like when I talk about Batista, who was the United States supported dictator in Cuba prior to Fidel Castro. He's very likely indigenous. He's very likely Manessa, like real Manessa, not by citizenship. Ted Cruz might be questionable, right? But he's of Cuban descent. That could just mean by nationality.
Right.
We know all the mixing. I did the class where I went over the whole blanqueamiento and stuff like that. I don't like to automatically just say oh, it's because he must be Edom.
Right.
Because there are people
like you said,
who are like that.
Herodians,
Right.
bourgeoisie. Oh, yeah.
Right. But this is what he has to say about it. Go ahead, come on.
Ted Cruz, exactly right. And yes, Tucker really argued that when the Bible says Israel, it doesn't mean Israel.
Now, here's the punchline, and that's what I'm saying. People are getting hip to it. Let's read this one.
Dave Descamps.
Uh-huh.
If I name my son Jesus, would you worship him as God because he has the same name as the Jesus from the Bible?
Right. Now, listen, maybe that went over some people's heads. That was very profound what he said.
Right.
What he's telling you is that just because they call themselves that doesn't mean they're it.
Right.
That's why he's using. So if I name my son Jesus, would you worship him as the Jesus from the Bible just because his name is Jesus? Right? So just because they say they're
Jews,
they're Jews, they say they're Israelites,
right?
Doesn't mean that, right? Let's read Revelation 2:9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9.
And I got to check. I don't know if I posted one from Instagram where the guy's talking about something. Oh, no, that's not it. I'm going to look for it. And I'll let one of them talk after we read this. Go ahead.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
Right. So he says, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. I think I posted it. There's a post that I saw today. I'm pretty sure I posted it. If not, maybe I saved it. I'm going to look for it. I think I sent it today. And they're actually quoting these verses now to say what Tucker's saying and what we've been teaching for decades.
Right.
For decades, if not more, right? And relax. You're going too much on all of these. You can stay with this one for now because I think this one's good. I know you're looking for it, right? And they're actually now they won't say that we're it,
right?
And I have some screenshots to show you that because I go to the comments to see what's being said. But they're at least acknowledging that those people are not
the Jews.
Just in name, they're not the people are seeing it. Like they understand, and people are looking at the information with the Balfour Declaration and what they did and how they took the land. But I got one about the DNA I said, damn. I mean, we've been talking about, I've been saying it for years. I've spoken about it. I think Deacon Nathan goes heavy into it because they try to say genetically they match it. But I found another post where somebody says they acknowledge that it's not source DNA. It's basically somebody that said they were Jew and they use that as the source DNA. And it's Amalekite DNA. It's Edomite DNA.
So they rewrote the DNA.
No. So what they're using as the base, in order to compare genetic samples, you have to get to the point where you acknowledge, and there's a consensus, that this genetic sample represents this people.
Yeah.
This one represents that people, right? And so on and so forth. So what does that mean? Let me try to put it more plainly. You would have to try to find the bones of a real Israelite, right? A Hebrew, right? A dark-skinned Hebrew, because it says they were dark-skinned, right? You would have to find a Hebrew bone sample and use that DNA as the source DNA. They didn't do that. They went to the people that claimed it, took one of the oldest ones that they did. I have the link for it, but like I said, it's going to go somewhere else with the class. And it shows how they established that was source DNA, right? So same thing like for Taino, for example, which is usually, Caribbean-based Latinos or Northern Kingdom, meaning Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, right? That's the indigenous were called Taino. Right. Taino DNA does still exist among the people in the islands. You can find it. No, nobody's 100% Taino anymore, but you can find it, and then you can extrapolate that. What they do with so-called Jewish DNA is they go to Ashkenazi sources, and that's how it's basically European sources.
Yeah, so that's vain.
So, of course, we're not going to match that DNA because we're not those people.
Right.
As much as, some of us do have that DNA in us because of captivities and stuff like that, right? So the point is, it totally deconstructs the DNA because it says their source DNA is not 3,000 years old. It would need to be a 3,000-year-old sample. in order to get the right one.
right.
So the
And they're not
DNA
gonna- they're not
arguments,
gonna find that.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it's over with
BS,
for that.
right? So let's look at this particular one, and you can read these slides. I'll at least indulge it a little bit with this, but go ahead.
Rich Tidwell. Modern Jews cannot prove
Okay, sorry, you're good.
they are the Israelites of the Bible. Nevertheless, demand the world recognize them as such. Why? You want the comment? Oh,
No, keep reading.
Dr. Carl.
This is it. This is the one where I said he acknowledges the DNA thing. I'm at least going to entertain it a little bit, but I'm not going to go into to the lengths that I wanted to. But go ahead.
Dr. Carl Skorecki, nephrologist,
Nephrologist and geneticist.
is best known for discovering the Cohen model haplotype.
Haplotype. So that's what they use for DNA. They call them haplotypes. It's basically how they classify. It's like the Dewey Decimal System at the library, if you remember that,
Yep.
or how you catalog something.
Yep.
This is how they catalog the DNA of, how the Bible had 18 nations?
Yeah.
They catalog DNA based on whatever their thing is. Those are haplotypes, okay? Go ahead. That's the easiest way to say it. It's more technical than that, but go ahead. Come on.
CMH in 1997. He proved Ashkenazi and Sephardi descend from one common male ancestor 3,000 years ago. The finding launched modern Jewish population genetics.
Right. So they basically tell you they based it off of Ashkenazi and Sephardi descent.
Wow.
They found one male ancestor, right, that they claim was 3,000 years ago, right? And that launched modern Jewish population genetics. They're telling you it was never based on Israelites from that region. It's Ashkenazi and Sephardi. Go ahead. Come on.
When asked, are the Jewish people of today directly related to the Israelites of the Bible? He answered, we don't have DNA from Israelites of the Bible.
So the guy who came up with the haplotypes that they use today as the standard to say that I am genetically a Jew acknowledges that it is not DNA from Israelites. Come on.
He answered, we don't have DNA from Israelites of the Bible. So there's no way to provide a direct answer to your question. He goes on to state self-identified Jews.
So if I name my son Jesus, which you
Right.
worship as the Jesus of the Bible,
Right.
right? So self-identified Jews, go ahead, come on.
Many Jews who come from most diaspora communities.
Right, and when they say diaspora communities, they're talking about like Germany. They're talking about like
Poland,
where
Poland,
they came
Yeah.
from.
right? They're
Exactly.
talking about things like that.
Slovakias,
They're not talking
yeah.
about the diaspora like where we were spent, right?
Right.
Meaning everywhere.
Arsaref and and Western Africa, right? Go ahead.
Their DNA markers show that there is a high degree of relatedness to each other, indicating common ancestry. The closest non-Jewish populations are Levantine populations.
So even when they deal with the Levant, look at who they're focusing on.
Right.
Read.
Druze, Palestinians, Syrians.
Now, those people in those regions now, are they all, could you say, no, because they've all been replaced.
Right.
They've
Yeah,
all been
all those
replaced.
areas replaced.
All those areas replaced.
Palestine
Somebody
replaced.
asked about the Pharaoh's DNA. First of all, Egyptians were never Hebrews.
Right.
So even if you found some of their DNA, that doesn't prove anything except that who they were. And then remember, most people see who predominates Egypt today?
Arabs.
Arabs, right? And at one time, it was heavily Greek.
Right.
So there was a lot of mixing up with
Right.
what went down in there. So that doesn't prove anything except maybe at best that they were real Egyptians, which were dark skinned, right? Not the light skin variation that live there now. But go ahead, come on.
Rather than their non-Jewish neighbors in the diaspora.
So if they can self-identify as Jews and you use their DNA, then how come you don't use our DNA? Right?
Right.
But anyway, go ahead, come on.
This is confirmed by more recent DNA studies. The Genomic History of Bronze Age, Southern Levant, published by the Cell, revealed that Ashkenazi are genetically Canaanites, Ham, rather than Hebrews,
Shem. Now, I took this picture from my Bible dictionary because I don't know that you guys have it. I'm going to send it to the group. All right. Save this. I wasn't going to go over this, but I guess this is where we're moving. Just so we can show the significance of that, right? Because he makes a statement there, but then it's not backed up with anything. Hold on. Come on. Why is it doing this? Is it the internet? Is it my phone? Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to send you this, and then I'm going to check if that's the one that I said. All right? Go ahead.
Do you want the next, or you want the definition?
No, read that part again, and then they're going to show this picture, right?
No genetic study.
Nope. The genomic history of the Bronze Age. Start from there.
This is confirmed by more recent DNA studies. The genomic history of the Bronze Age, Southern Levant, published by the Cell, revealed the Ashkenazi are genetically Canaanites, Ham, rather than Hebrews, Shem.
Right. So where does that come from? Why does that have significance? People, so the common person might not know what's being said there, right? So even if they go to certain things and you say Ashkenazi, right? They're claiming Ashkenazi. It might not even be the right thing, right? Like they're just, remember, all they've done and all they've ever done is we're everybody.
Yep.
Right.
We're the Greeks, we're the Romans, we're the Israelites,
Yeah.
we're the Babylonians, we're this, we're that. They're always moving in that spirit, right? Now, show the screenshot of Ham, for this is the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. This is a screenshot from the Bible Dictionary. So the biblical scholars understand this difference, but yet they let this lie perpetrate, right? So why is it significant? Canaanite DNA is not the same DNA as Hebrew DNA. Remember what I said earlier? They don't have Hebrew DNA, right? So let's read this. Come on.
Ham, perhaps hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes. Go ahead, come on.
But the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
Right. So now, why is that significant that he says not the Negroes, right? Letting you know what? That the Negroes are a different race.
That's right.
They won't plainly say that Hebrews are Negroes.
Right.
But something in their spirit, and they might eventually get rid of this.
Right.
So
Right,
hopefully
right.
them
'Cause that's
pages
plain.
are preserved.
Right.
Something in their spirit made them write it. They know that just because you're dark, see, like you have dum-dums of our people.
Right. The all black Israelites.
That you gotta
FBAs.
that you gotta be black like the screen on my
Right,
phone when
right.
it's off.
Right.
You gotta be black like this, all right? Or else you're not an Israelite, okay?
Crazy.
They understand that the complexion is not what makes you an Israelite. Right? It's the bloodline and the descendancy, which you identify through the curses and through scriptures like 2 Ezra 13, right? That you can look at and you see who fits those type of things, right? That the scriptures speaks about. So when they say not the Negroes, they just drop something on most people that goes over their head, letting you know that Negroes are of a different stock. You are not African. You can be an African. Not to say that there's not Israelites still in Africa. That's where we fled because we were dark skinned, right? Now with mixing and stuff like that, depending on where you are, your complexions vary, right? But you had races that were dark skinned but were different by descendancy.
Right.
We're not of Ham.
Right? We're not of Ham. Okay? We're not of Ham. Okay? Now, go back to the Insta thing that we're looking at. Go ahead. No genetic study.
No genetic study has extracted DNA from First Temple period Israelite grave sites.
Come on.
The Cell study utilized DNA extracted from Megiddo, and Ashkelon, both sites being historically riddled with Canaanites.
Come on.
Dr. Skorecki noted their closest genetic relatives include the Syrians. Interestingly, this is precisely where the 2nd century scientist Ptolemy said the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, originated from.
Right. So now this ties back to when we go over Josephus and he talks about Herod. Right? And the modern Jew today are descendants of Herod, which was an Edomite, right? Go ahead. It's going to explain this. It's going to go into the Hasmonean dynasty and all of that stuff. Go ahead. Come on.
The Jews are such by nature and from the beginning, whilst the Idumeans, Edomites, were not Jews from the beginning, but Phoenicians and Syrians, but being afterwards subdued by the Jews and compelled to be circumcised.
That's what John Hyrcanus and the history behind that, right? Go ahead, come on, because that was the custom. If you took your prisoners, they had to live under the laws and under the same customs as us. And they had different rights than pure blood Israelites, right? So certain things they were benefited under the law, other things was not equal, right? Like there was no freeing them. You freed Israelites that were in some sort of bound contract to you and stuff like that. They had different rules, right? Go ahead, come on.
and to unite into one nation and to be subject to the same laws. They were called Jews. They were called Jews not because of their descent, but in regard to their religion and manner of life.
Right. Go ahead. Come on.
Hence, it was that the kingdom of Herod and his posterity were called the kingdom of the proselytes.
Which means a convert. Go ahead. Come on.
By the Hebrews. Ammonius de differentia vocabulary.
So he's quoting the literature where that information is. Go ahead. Come on.
This is confirmed by Antigonus, the last Hasmonean king of Judea, who designated the who denigrated the infamous King Herod as an Idumean, a half-Jew.
And Antiquities is going into Josephus, which I just quoted, right?
Right.
It says something to the effect in Josephus of he liked to think of himself as a true Jew,
Yep.
but he was an Idumean, which is the Greek word for Edom. Go ahead, come on.
Modern Jews cannot present ancestral records connecting them to the tribe of Judah nor Benjamin.
Southern Kingdom. Go ahead, come on.
Jews, nor any Israelite clan.
Nor any Israelite clan.
None of them.
None of them. Go ahead, come on.
They likewise are unable to make a genetic connection to First Temple period graves, as religious authorities refuse to allow the DNA to be extracted.
I wonder why.
Right.
They don't want them to go and find those bones and those things and do any type of extraction on them because they know it would destroy the lie of who they are. Right? Go ahead, come on.
They demand we esteem them as the Jews of the Bible, when in reality they better fit the biblical description of the Edomites.
And here's what's wild. You got all these crazy Christian groups out there that want to come against us based on this aspect of things, yet all this information is there.
Right.
Now, like I said, they'll stop short of acknowledging us, some of these people, but they gotta, like the truth is coming out so strong that they're gonna get backed into a corner that they gotta realize that it's cognitive dissonance to ignore all this type of information that their own people are starting to acknowledge. Right?
Yep.
Bro, I'm starting to see Edomite Christian groups talk about that you gotta still keep the law.
Oh, wow.
Stuff that we've been teaching
Wow.
forever.
Right.
And they're breaking it down with good points.
That's crazy work.
Man.
That's crazy.
They bringing
work.
out the verses that we've been using for forever to support the doctrine.
Yep.
Now, that don't impress me as much as I'm seeing that they can't deny it.
Right.
Shit.
Of course, they're going to still try to appropriate it.
Right.
Because what they still maintain is that, yeah, I'm not an Israelite, but they still go into the fact that supposedly they're grafted in. Right? But the point is, I'm starting to see more and more of this acknowledgement of things like
heavy,
the
man.
laws are not
That's
done away
heavy.
with,
Yep.
that you have to keep the high holy days.
The high holy days.
Yes, they were talking about Passover and how Easter was full of crap. Edomite Christian pastors talking about this.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Yes.
And bro, and I'm telling you, that's us.
Right.
That's us.
Yep.
That's the line
Absolutely.
going out into the earth.
Right.
That's
I was
us.
that
Right.
one, yes.
Because let me tell you something. Something like that, when you have our people who are still kind of up behind them, they'll see that and they're going to start to say, if they can admit that, then maybe something that these people are preaching on the streets are doing. But there was another article I wanted to go over. See, I could have went a whole nother direction with the show. I got to bring it back to Cuba. They said over 100,000 churches closed in the last few years, Christian churches. And they're saying newer generations are not being filled with people going into the churches anymore. Their ministry is weak. It is fading. It is folding. It is being seen for the crap and lies that it is.
Right.
And the article basically goes on and says that a lot of people leave the church because they realize that they don't practice what they preach.
Right.
You don't find that
That
suspicious?
they try to hide sin. And I Lord's will, I remember to bring this stuff out. If y'all brothers
This
let
is
me
some heavy
remember, because
stuff.
you know that I drop stuff and I
Man.
Yeah, there's some heavy stuff right
just it's a lot. It's a lot. And I got a lot going on. I know we all got a lot going on, but
here.
I wish that I could only dedicate myself to scholarly things.
Right.
But I can't. I got responsibilities that I got to keep the machine. Hold on, don't let me do that. You can bring it. We got to finish this and then you can bring it. All right. And it said something to the effect of about that they try to hide the sin. That's why we bring the sin out. Some people don't. Some people feel like a way when we we'll. Remember, the scripture says, them that sin rebuke before all, right? We don't do it on the, once upon a time, we would bring it out on the broadcast, but then we realize people's perceptions aren't ready for that.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way and there's a reason that judgment is brought out the way it does. We're not saying that anybody here is perfect,
Right.
but we make sure that we put out there when somebody's guilty of something, right? And we show you and we say what it was, right? That's more real and honest And that's the way it was supposed to be when you think about it biblically. So people who get salty that we do that, or they say they're hypocrites, because we're not to condemn anybody.
Right.
If it's a forgivable sin, and almost all sin is, right? We got to be able to let somebody repent from that, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's a whole nother thing that I'm working on with a godly sorrow and reproof topic that I've been meditating on, right? It's not as simple as just saying, yeah, that's behind me. There's fruit, meat for repentance that needs to be acknowledged, right? Because you'll have some widows that are on suspension now be like, so why ain't I back yet? Because you still have not displayed any godly sorrow for any of your stuff, right?
He ain't lying.
Bro, it's a lot. There's like you could tell. There's so much in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is there's all this information going out, and it made me realize how much more powerful the grassroots things that we're doing, right? And when I say grassroots, how the preaching on the street's still a foundation for us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nobody really does that.
Nobody.
No. And they'll try to show you a clip of a pastor here or there that they do it, or Jehovah's Witness,
do it a
or
little
a certain
bit
thing.
more. Not consistent.
And they'll do it. And,
Yeah.
and some of them have only started doing it a little more because they saw us and the rise of what we're doing. And then if they do it, they don't necessarily go to the places where our people are and the communities that they are. They're not really doing global ministries anymore of that regard. The article was very interesting. It also spoke about how a lot of these churches don't have the money to do these type of things, which is why things like the Booster Club and all these other things are so important. And it made me just realize how much the Lord is with us, how much we're really following the blueprint of the scriptures, and why everybody wants to know what the secret sauce is. And in their negative, pessimistic, right, cynical views, it always has to be something like we're taking money, we're this, we're that, all this other BS and all the lies that they said. And they can never see it as the Spirit of God prospering the work that we're doing.
As you said,
we
what
would
happened?
not be able to do what we do here at IUIC if it was not that God was not working with us and dealing with us. Because if it was that easy as just taking money or doing something and something like that, other organizations would be doing the same thing to the magnitude that we're doing it. And I say that in all humility. I say that in all humility, not as a boast, right? Even though boasting is not, Paul stopped to boast a little bit so you can recognize, all right? But it's not from a vanity boasting perspective, but to show you that people are waking up that are not even going to get salvation.
Right.
And we're that light in that dark place. We're that city that's set on a hill, right? And like I said, if I remember, I'll bring all these things out that I've been seeing. And that's one thing I love about algorithms. It's like tracking's like a mixed bag because you're like, shit, I don't want them to track me. But at the same time, I would never find some of these articles if it would without the suggestion, right? And stuff like that. So
that's a hell of an article right here.
And I'm going to let you bring your point in your verse, all right? But I want to finish this here. Go ahead, come on. Go back. No, go back.
You want the last part of it?
Yeah, read that last part again.
They demand we esteem them as the Jews of the Bible, when in reality they better fit the biblical description of the Edomites.
Right. Go ahead. Come on.
Jesus warned of a synagogue who say that they...
Yeah, bro, they're starting to... Bro.
It's crazy.
Come on.
Jesus warned of a synagogue who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Revelation 3:9. The Edomites, like the Herodians and Judas Iscariot, are evidently who Jesus was referring to.
So how come so-called apologists and Christian nationalist groups, because that's what they are when you move with that white supremacist mentality, are trying to say that that's talking about the Pharisees that say they are Jews and are not, because that's their breakdown to defend Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. But here you got Christian, biblical, allegedly, pastors and leaders. A lot of these are people who have gone to seminary and have theology degrees because their argument is we got none of that. We don't have hermeneutics. Right? But now you're having people that have hermeneutics and all that stuff, connecting the dots that we've been teaching. And don't think that they just found us themselves. They listen to us.
That's right.
And then they'll cherry pick what they want to. And they'll be, they might have a point. I'm still not going to acknowledge that they're them. But I'm going to go and bring this out. And he says, how come he can make, because that's what it's talking about. It's talking about Herod, right? And he says Judas Iscariot, but it's really talking about Herod, right? Because when you read down, it talks about in Revelation 2:9, you keep reading, it talks about them that'll cast you into prison.
Exactly.
Who at
That's
that
the
time
proof.
had that authority.
That's
That's
Rome.
the proof, right?
Mhm.
That's Rome, right? That can kill you and have that authority, right? And who is that today that has that authority, right?
Same people.
Anyway, go ahead, come on.
The Edomites were prophesied to be small among the nations. You shall be utterly despised.
They do not
They don't never bring out no
the
doggone
book of
Obadiah.
Obadiah.
Ever. Zero.
Hell is this?
That'll never happen.
They don't ever talk about Edomite scriptures.
Nope.
Bro,
No.
they're starting to pull Edomite scriptures.
No, that's
Go ahead,
crazy.
come on.
There are only 11 million Ashkenazi today. What is their historic reputation?
What is their historic reputation? Come on.
Esau, Edom, Mount Seir, has long desired Jacob's lands. Ezekiel 35:10, 36:5.
They
Psalms.
going in this
Hold on, so
thing. Wait a
He
minute.
quotes Psalms 83.
Yo,
That
he
is
pulling
crazy.
scripts.
He
about the land
quoted
being stolen.
Psalm 83. Bro, he quoted Psalm 83.
In the context.
Bro, let me tell you something.
And Ezekiel.
He's not saying that all white men, but he's saying that the
Definitely
Jewish
them.
white
Right,
man
right,
is.
right.
Right.
And if they are too,
Right.
then by extension,
Come on.
they're related.
That's right.
We know who it's talking about. What does and he went straight to verse 6.
Right.
Right.
All I want to read is just verse 6, just so you can see. Go ahead, come on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom
Uh-huh.
and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarim.
He's letting you know that he knows that Edom is the white man.
Right.
Now he's saying it's the Jewish white man.
Right.
He's not saying it's all white men.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But that's a start.
Right.
Right? That's a start. Go ahead, come on.
Esau, Edom, Mount Seir, has long desired Jacob's lands. Ezekiel 35:10, 36:5, Psalms 83, 6 through 12. He possessed them during the Babylonian captivity. Obadiah 1:11 through 14. Ezekiel 36:5. During the Herodian dynasty, Antiquities 14 through 17. Jewish War 1. Ptolemy on Herod. And is prophesied to possess them in the last days prior to Jesus' second advent.
And they're even
What is
talking
this?
about the prophecy
Come on.
at the last days.
Right.
This dude been researching, boy.
Go ahead, come on.
Obadiah 1, Zechariah 14:21, and Luke 21, verse 24.
Bro, he's
to the
quoting
Gentiles.
Zechariah.
He going in.
He quoting Zechariah, bro.
Well, he's going precept upon precept.
Right.
Get that real quick.
Let's go.
Yeah, they watching somewhere. The book of Zechariah, chapter 14. You want verse 21? Verse 21. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and the seed therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts.
Now, he's not making the connection so strongly that the Canaanites are Africans. He's still dealing with only the Edomite part. So he's obviously a little twisted here. But my point is, when has this level of awareness ever come out? There's something powerful when God's word preached properly is in the earth.
Right.
When I want to tell you something. I'm not saying he looked at us. But when it says the word don't go out void, you have to understand that there's a spirit, right?
Yep.
Remember how everything was spoken,
Yep.
right? It wasn't made with hands; it was done by command, right?
Right.
And that's the power. That's the voice of God. That's the voice that Christ has,
Yep.
right? And for the word to be out in the consistency that it is, meaning even if somebody wasn't directly taught, that's wisdom in the earth, right?
It's the spirit, like you said. It's going out.
Right.
Their line goeth out.
Right. It's not just that you have to hear it and accept it. It permeates. It's kind of like in Star Wars where they talk about the Force and the midi-chlorians.
Yep.
And the midi-chlorians is the word of God, and it's in everything and in everyone, right?
Oh, you cooking.
Even if you don't access the power, even if you don't have any ability with the Force, it affects and moves in everybody. It's the source of knowledge and life for everybody, right? That's what it's going into. Go ahead. Is that it on this?
That was all of that one.
Go ahead. Come on. I'm going to let you bring your verse. Don't forget what you had, Asher.
Yes,
Go ahead.
sir.
Come on.
Obadiah prophesies Israel will ascend Mount Zion to judge the mountains of Esau.
Dang, they
Let's
ain't
go.
talking about judgment.
And the kingdom will be the Lord's on the day of the Lord.
Read.
Obadiah 1 and 21.
Come on.
Zechariah likewise prophesies there will no longer be a Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts in that day, indicating a false priesthood of Canaanites possessed the temple prior to Christ, Zechariah 14:21. Josephus confirmed both the Pharisees and Sadducees had been infiltrated during the Herodian era, Antiquities 14:9, 4-5, while the Essenes, who gave us the Dead Sea Scrolls, were comprised of only ethnic Jews. Jewish War 2:8-119.
Come on.
Perhaps most compelling, Israel and Judah do not repossess Jacob's lands until the second advent.
So now he's acknowledging that it's God that got to give us back the lands, and it's not until Christ returns. So the lie that they use, that God put them back in that land, it's blasphemy.
But do lie.
It's that right, but they do lie because Christ didn't give them that land. The Rothschilds and other men conspired to make that so as part of the crafty counsel in Psalms 83. Go ahead, come on.
By default, this indicates the current rulers and the future antichrists are not descendants of Jacob, known as Israel.
Antichrist.
That part.
Man of sin.
It is on these grounds that I am presenting what is called the Edomite hypothesis.
So, of course, he made his own name for it and stuff like that, right? we just been teaching that Bible truth for forever, but go ahead, come on.
Modern Israel is ruled by Edom.
Oh, my gosh. Go ahead, come on.
The synagogue of Revelation 3 and 9.
He didn't want to say the synagogue of Satan, so he
said
who usher in the Antichrist and will be judged at the second coming.
Oh, my gosh. They're the synagogue of Satan.
Yo, that's some
dang
heavy
it.
Woo-wee.
Dang it, he did.
Man. See, I had to bring that up. Now, wait a second. I got to say, you do your verse while I send this picture, Ashley. Say what you were going to say.
I was actually going to bring this out to you, Deke, to the point that the word is going out so heavily that now Esau is exposing themselves as well as letting the whole world know, listen, the people that are in the land of Israel right now are not God's people. I was going to read this, Deke, if you wanted to break it down. Revelations 12 and verse 15. Read it for Deacon.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 15.
And we're going to read down to 16. Go ahead.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right, so that's all the lies, the media, and not just the media. I got to tell you, it's the consensus of things like genetics and stuff like that. And see, and I'm not going to go into it today. I wanted to bring these verses out when I showed how it's not just the mouth of the dragon and its media anymore. And this goes back to my point with Bishop. And I was telling him how there's so much information coming out on everything that's happening in the earth. And with things like AI and the way the news cycles and the sources of the news, that if you're not grounded in these scriptures, that is so much more important that even we could get carried away because you don't know what to believe. Not and Yahoo's dead, he's not dead. It's an AI video, it's not an AI video. Now he's at a press conference, now he's not. They're winning the war, they're not. They shot down a plane, they didn't. They can control the information so much so that you don't know what to believe. And it made me think of how, get that verse where it says, if it were possible, they could deceive the very elect. I always understood what the verse meant. Now I understand how powerful it is when you look at stuff like that. And I told him, I said, sometimes I got to lately I feel like I just got to stop. Like I can't look at this information. I got to turn everything off. I can't use it. Like I can't look at all this stuff. And I told him this. I said, I know we've all been teaching it that this is not the end. There's a lot of things clearly that the prophecy's not lining up, chiefly to Jacob's trouble, but there's a lot of other pieces that's not there.
Yeah.
I said, but one thing that's been in my spirit, and I think it's, I talk about we go through stuff. I want to say depression, but you go through things and you feel a shift in your mood and stuff like that. And sometimes it's life things, and normally you weather those, but then sometimes something hits your spirit. And I said, we're living in consequential times. That's what I told them. I said, and what I mean by that is that people like to say there's always wars, there's always this, there's always that, there's always sickness, there's flu epidemics and stuff like that. I said, the Lord has really chosen Trump and people around him to really, I said, this is something we're going to look back as milestone moments in the history of our people and the earth.
Yeah.
That he's really taking this period to push things forward. Nothing's going to be the same after these. I'm going to say starting with 2019, 2020.
Yep. Yep.
Up until right now, I said these are. I know we talk about contractions and stuff, and some people get excited for every little bit of news, but to me, this is the most. I would say, and I'm not that old, right? 48, but at least for me and what I've seen, and I would dare say for a lot of people, these are some of the most consequential times, not just in the history of Earth. People are gonna go, "What are you talking about? You had the internet and this," and I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
That.
Carnal.
I'm talking about biblically. This is some of the most consequential years that we're living through. And right now, even these months, we were just talking before the show. How much more time Trump got? I said, bro, he got 3 more years.
He's done so much already.
Right.
Remember I did a show, I think the beginning of the year. I said, bro, it's only been 1 year.
Yep.
Right.
And it feels like so much has gone on. And I told Bishop, I said, damn, I said, this is some of the most consequential times. I said, the Most High is moving pieces and setting up the board for the next time these contractions. He not done with this. And for the next time that those contractions come through. I said, anybody that don't acknowledge it and they're just la-di-da moving on.
That
even if you don't believe in this, you got to realize that this is some of the stuff. Like they're using terms like things are not going to be the same after this. This has changed. That has changed. And you see it. And it's powerful, right? And it's powerful. Did you find that other verse that I wanted?
Matthew 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 24. Where there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Now, we know a lot of those signs and wonders goes into things like Christianity, the scientific power, the atomic bomb, and things like that. But I'm going to tell you, we're living in a time with the way this information comes out. I would even say things like AI and this goes into the mouth of the dragon and the flood.
Right.
The flood is not just the media, but how the media is delivered.
Right.
It's not just the kung fu or the boxing. It's the actual techniques.
Yes.
And some of them are more devastating than others.
Right.
And there's a large amount of people who don't question anything and they just take it for what it is. Damn, there was another freaking link. I think I posted it too, or maybe I saved it. It spoke about, it says something to the effect of how people rally behind one leader and everything else, and you can't do like power consolidate. Oh, it's about fascism. Right, and you hear people use that term, and you think it's just a political term, but you have to realize how it's we're really living under fascist times, and that's why I say Trump is very consequential. He wants to be consequential, but he wants to be consequential by putting his name on stuff, by forcing things that have been unconventional to a president. And what he doesn't realize is that he's going to be consequential for the base, ignorant kind of neglect that he's done as he's moved through some of these things. And you have people who hold up this world that stand behind politically what he's doing, supporting him or against him. And that's why I say we're on God's side. And if God put this man there to do that, that's why I say, I'm saying what I say about him, but I actually love him because I know that God put him in power.
He set him up.
And I love, and when I say love is because I love what he's doing, because I can see it in the scriptures. I can see it in the scriptures. It's consequential times. It's consequential times. Make no mistake about it. It's consequential time. I'm not saying don't worry about your life and other things that's happening.
Yeah, some heavy stuff.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I sit down. I think a lot often. I know most people say they do. I'm not trying to make a competition, but my mind be all over the place sometimes. I gotta focus that thing in and narrow it in. Right, musing. I'm using. Right, it's wild. It's wild out there. But it says if it were possible, they could receive the very elect. Go ahead, come on.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold.
Oh no, that's it. That's all I wanted on it. Now go back to Asher. There was
that next verse.
Yeah.
Bring
come
that
on.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right, and for a time, I would say that things did kind of have people that way.
Yeah.
And you see some of that confusion now. But those of us who are most rooted in this, remember I was talking about the word now is
right.
It's even letting non-believers not be deceived anymore.
That's the next part.
Right?
That's
Go ahead,
it's
come
like
on.
he sent us a life raft.
Uh-huh.
The book of Revelation 12 and 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Now, the earth helping the women goes into us.
Right.
These prophets in the earth in the last day. I'm going to prove it to you. Get 2
That's right.
Corinthians 4, and we'll just start... Start at 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. And if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
This is why you can't you get frustrated, but you can't stay frustrated because people who are lost, remember, it's a summer reserved to eternal darkness.
Right.
They're never going to see it, right? And our job is not, I don't want to say the scripture does use words that we got to be persuasive and things like that. You got to try to touch and do that stuff, but you don't drag anybody.
Right.
You don't chase anybody to give them treasure, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 4. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the mind.
Who's the God of this world?
Satan.
Right? Satan, the God of this world, right? And that's a small one. It's not talking about our God. We know our God walks under the authority of Satan, right? Satan walks under the authority of our God, correction. But it says the God of this world is going into Satan, right? You read that in Luke when he says, unto me it is given to give all these things. Go ahead, come on.
Blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
That's when they act like when the disciples asked him, why you speak in parables? He goes, because unto you to know the mysteries. You read the other verse, I forget, I don't know if it's Luke or Matthew, where it talks about blessed are your eyes, because many kings or whatever have desired to see, right? And have not known, but yours have, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 5. For we preach not ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Jesus' sake.
I'm showing you that the earth is talking about us. Don't forget that verse, right? So it says, and the earth helped the woman, and it's talking about the prophets. There's certain ordained men that were going to be that help from all these lies and confusion that's in the earth, right? Notice here, he says, for we preach not ourselves. He's talking about the prophets, right? He's talking about, chiefly he's talking about himself and the other apostles.
Right.
And we build on that foundation, right? On the apostle of Christ and of the 12, right? So he's talking about us. Go ahead, come on.
And ourselves, your servants for Jesus' sake.
Come on.
For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness.
He's using this as a similitude. That for God commanded the light to shine out, just like he did that in creation.
Right.
In this dark times, in this great war that we call ignorance. Go ahead, come on.
Have shined in our hearts.
All right, just like that same way that God brought light into the earth, right? That he shined light in the darkness is the same way that he's letting that light come into certain men, right? Certain men. Go ahead, come on.
In our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ.
That's the purpose, and that's what's going to prevent you from being cast away with that flood. Go ahead, come on. Verse 7 is the point.
But we have this treasure in earthen vessels.
In earthen vessels. In earth. So when it's verse 16, Revelation 12:16 says, and the earth helped the woman, he says in earthen vessels, meaning what? There's celestial and terrestrial flesh, vessels, right? But we have this treasure, the treasure of the light of Christ and that understanding, right? And not just to have it, but the ability to be an able minister of it, right? We have it in earthen vessels. Go ahead, come on.
That the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us.
Right. It's of God and not of us. He allows these earthen, trashy vessels that won't make it into the kingdom. All right. This broke down, beat up bodies that we have. Okay. And that's why now when you go back and you read Revelation, let's read Revelation 12, 15, and 16. Go ahead, come on.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right, which is not, it's through the form of the media, but now the manipulation of it, the techniques that they're using with AI and disinformation and everything is so much more powerful, right? So the flood is becoming stronger, not weaker. But guess what? Like we just read about that power that light in the dark place in the earthen vessels, the power of God made manifest. Come on, verse 16.
And the earth helped the woman.
The earthen vessels, those prophets that have that truth, right? And the earth helped the woman. Go ahead, come on.
And the earth opened her mouth.
Preaching this word of God. Go ahead, come on.
And swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Right. And that's why I say it's like that midi-chlorians, because it's so powerful.
Right.
That so and notice they only getting part of it, because remember I said it's not for them to see it, right?
Right.
Those that are in the darkness, but they're bringing certain aspects out.
Right. And that was the point, D. 100%.
I got one for you too.
Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord.
Ooh, come on.
The shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency? And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places.
Right, because why? That's going to those chief places of concourses. It says when you go to the enemies in the gates.
Yep. Right.
This is their leadership, their principality. It goes with Ephesians 6 against
All
spiritual
that.
wickedness in high places. It's all connected. And people want to say this book is outdated.
Right.
That is not for
Stop
Stop
it.
it. Get some help. Get
Come
some
on,
help.
man.
Anyway.
Stop it.
Hey,
Get some help.
so that last Instagram thing we should see. I got to shift to Cuba. We still got time. I'm gonna get some Cuba in. I'm
It's
gonna get
only
some Cuba in.
8:45.
I'm gonna get. Well, we started late. We
Yeah,
started
that's
late.
what it is.
I'm gonna
Only
get some Cuba in.
8:45.
Right. I'm gonna get some
We
Cuba
good.
in. And some of this I got to run back because I got more.
Right.
I got more. But I'm glad it came out. That's the spirit moving. So, so I went to the comments after the Instagram we just read.
Right.
And lo and behold, I see this. And let's go ahead. Caleb Valiente.
Yeah.
Right? And he says this to the Richard Tidwell guy. Go ahead, come on.
And drum roll, please. The real Israel, the real Jews are seen, if you guys know yet. Not the black Hebrew Israelites, if that's what you're inferring. I did a post on this already. In addition to Canaan, Ham fathered Cush, meaning black. The Cushites, meaning their blackness, are known today as the Ethiopians. Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Jeremiah 13 and 23. Ham also fathered Mizraim, now known as the Egyptians. Their own artwork reveals their complexion was between bronze and black.
Go to the next one.
In other words, simply being of black African descent does not make one an Israelite.
He's not wrong.
Right.
He's not wrong. Go ahead, come on.
However, all races can be saved and grafted into Israel by believing in Jesus, our Lord.
No, so this is where he get this. What I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Now we show the Ham thing again because he's basically trying to say all dark people come from Ham.
Right.
Show the screenshot of from Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. One more again. All right. Go ahead.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Right, letting you know that it's different.
You're
letting
cooked.
you know
That's what
that
you
it's
don't know.
different. Right,
Yeah,
cook. Go ahead,
cook.
come on.
Shut your black
But
lips.
the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
Right, there you go. But this was letting you know there's a difference. Letting you know there's a difference. Hey, now that you put that soundbite, I think there was a sister that was offended that I played that soundbite during my marriage class.
Right.
You better shut your
I don't know. There was a
black lips.
comment, and she was talking about that, like that I was being insulting, and I was trying to think. I said, "Who did I insult?" I said, "I threw jabs at Toby, but they didn't know it was Toby." I said, "I only do
Right.
that like on New Moon, where I'll mention his name."
Yeah.
I said, "But like on a national class, I have some discretion, you know."
yeah.
I said, "I threw jabs at some brothers." I said, "What did I say?" That was, and I said, "It must have been the shut your black lips thing." We gotta see. She was all offended by that.
You better shut your black lips.
Trying to figure out. And no, and then brothers try to ask, like, what exactly are you saying? You
Right.
know, I mean, I know I'm direct and I can be very
Blunt.
Candid.
unfiltered sometimes, but I'm not like malicious
No.
in when I say things. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And typically it kind of just lightens the mood. Like it's not like it's just random that I start. You know, pops in my head because it's relevant to something I'm going over. But
Right.
I was just like, damn, you know, so, you know, I take consideration. I got to realize, you know, like, you know, we don't want to be using opprobrious words. Sometimes that something will slip, but you want to not,
It happens.
you know, so I get it.
Yourself.
Right.
Right.
Right. Malicious. Oh, you had to look at it. People know what malicious means. You don't have to put that out there. They know what malicious means. Hey, before I transition to Cuba, I'm gonna let Asher talk for a little bit. I'm gonna be right back, and because Cuba's coming up next. All right. Go ahead, Asher.
Hey, and with that same point that Deacon was making about the earth helping the women, the prophets going out and teaching the word, and how it's even gone to where the nations, Edom specifically, is showing themselves to understand that the ones in Israel are not the true Jews. This is why verse 17 says what it says. Let's read verse 17 in Revelation chapter 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
So mind you, the dragon is making reference to this white man who has been pushing these lies for so long. So this particular white man, this dragon was wroth with the woman. The woman is making reference to Israel, the nation of Israel. Why would he be wroth at the woman? Because the prophet or the earth in verse 16, who is helping the woman realize who they are, is now exposing that much more of the lies that they pushing. So now they like, damn, even our own people is falling upon themselves. Even our own people is snitching on us and our lies.
Snitching.
So listen, if this be the case, and we can't shut them up because, like Deacon was making reference, AI is out, social media is rampant and all that. Because we can't shut them up, because even if we shut down the doggone social medias, they're going to go out to the street corners.
For real. Right.
And if they can't go out in groups, they're going to go 2 by 2s as the Lord sent them out in the book of Matthew chapter 10.
Let's go. Right.
So they said, listen, if we can't shut these niggas up, these spicks up, there's something that we must do. This goes back to Matthew 24 and Matthew 10 that Bishop been bringing out in regards to them persecuting us and putting us to death. Why? Because the things that we preach are things that expose them, which in turn is going to bring them into the mindset of saying, listen, we got to kill these people.
Yeah, we got to shut
We can't let them, we can't let them speak no more.
Right.
Read it again.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
So the point that they now want to put us to death, this hasn't happened yet. That's what Deacon was talking about.
Right.
Yes, we are in very, very, what's the word he used with the C?
Consequential.
We are in very consequential times, but we're not in the times that we getting put to death as of yet.
Right.
That's the next verse. That's 17. This is what it's getting to. When they can't shut us up, now they have to physically damage us. Come on.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
The spiritual war is being won.
Right.
We are winning that war by a long shot. Right. So this ain't spiritual no more because that's already been handled. We handling that right now to the point they talking about. They ain't the people of the book. This is physical war now. This is persecution. This is 2 Esdras 15. This is Matthew 10. This is Matthew 24. That's what's going on now. Finish it off.
Which keep the commandments of God.
And that's the point. Which keep the commandments of God. So he ain't talking about some of these camps that's out here talking about some rape and dealing with strife and
multiple
envy.
Wives and
multiple
all that.
wives and all. He talking about those that keep the commandments of God, whose line goeth out to the earth.
Right.
Those are the ones that are a problem.
Right.
Bishop made a particular message a long time ago, back when he was sick. It's all on social media and everything. He said, listen, they know about the purple and gold.
Right.
They are a problem. Battle them or go against them. Who keep the commandments of God, finish it off.
And have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
And have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So this is what's going on now.
Don't forget the threat assessment that they did a few years ago as well.
Right. Deacon?
Yeah, all right. Hold on.
Yo, you cooked.
Yo.
You cooking.
All right. Where am I going to start? Let me see.
Damn, you got like
Show me
100
my
tabs
Cuba
up.
stuff. I tell you, bro.
Yo, with slides.
Nah, you know what? I wanted to go over that for I didn't do the health and the marriage piece, but that's all right. We're already in, so
yeah,
we're not gonna do it today. Where do I want to start? What else do I have on Cuba? Keep going. Show me. Was there any news headlines I gave? That's one we could use. Keep going. Nope. Keep going. You could drop the Joe Kent stuff today. We're not gonna use that. That was the 100,000 churches. But save that. Like all this stuff that we didn't use for today, please save. So I'll probably go over it next week. You could drop that. Because that was going to be part of this segment, but I'll go over that another time. We can keep this one. What else we got? I don't know if we'll get that in. Keep it, though, for now. You can drop that one for now. We'll use that for next week. Was that it? No, there was more stuff. What happened to the Cuba folder? Okay, all right. Damn, I wanted to go in on the Mexican thing. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, go to Cuba. Go there. There we go. Let me see what we got here. Make those bigger. Maybe we're gonna do that one first, but first let me go to the article, the one about the blackout. All right, so you see a lot of stuff going on with Cuba, right? And they're not talking about it as much because what's dominating the headlines now is Iran and the war and the oil and everything else that's going on over there. Cuba's long been a target, right? And there's a lot of reasons. People are gonna have their views and their opinions. A lot of it goes back to the Monroe Doctrine and the hegemony. Trying to have like just the one power in the Western Hemisphere, that authority and everything. I've gone over all those things, and all those are reasons. I want to give a certain perspective to this. Read this first. So right now they've stepped up the el bloqueo, right? That's how they call it in Cuba, el bloqueo, which is the embargo, which has been like 60 years, I think, like the longest embargo like ever. It might even be more at this point. I'm just throwing the number out there. And Cuba survived because they were getting a lot of help from Venezuela. Russia helps them. China. I got over on this show. They had the Comecon, which was like their version of BRICS and the G7, and it was the I know communist is such a trigger word, so is socialism. Let's call them the anti-capitalist, all right? So people don't get triggered. They was the anti-capitalist nations, right? And I'm trying to find my path because I know the path can't be that long for me to keep the show reasonable, right? And I want to lay the foundation right. There's layers to this. Part of what America's dominance is based on is, number one, is having the strongest military.
Yep.
Right, and they have the most. They spend the most of the gross domestic product on the military, more than any other country. I think more than like the top 10 countries combined or something.
Dang.
And one of the reasons they're able to do that is because they set their currency up as the world's benchmark currency.
Right.
Many months ago, I did the class and I spoke about the Bretton Woods. Mm-hmm. Spoke a little bit about it on the show, and I did it on the Sabbath class. And the Bretton Woods was when they made, after World War II, they made the U.S. currency, backed by the most gold, the world standard.
Right.
Nixon did away with that. I'm giving you the brief. We'll talk about it in another show. Maybe next week I'll get into it. And they needed to make up something to have that, right? So somewhere in the 70s, they went and they did the petrodollar, right? The petrodollar was when they backed it by oil, okay? I'm giving you the rough. We'll give you exact timelines another time when I'm able to really break it down. Because I want to get into a little bit of the history of Cuba and the main person driving it under Trump this time around, which is Marco Rubio. And the petrodollar made it so that anybody who wants to buy oil had to convert their money to dollars first. And there's some complexity to that without making it like an economics class. People talk about the national debt, and you're like, who do we owe this money to, right? How does America owe money to anybody if America is the world power? They have treasury bonds, right? And you buy bonds in countries, right? So you can buy it in companies, you can buy it in countries. They get a rating, okay? The bonds in countries, the treasury bond of the United States is how they convert the money. They have to hold bonds, right? The bonds pay an interest rate. But because they're so in demand, generally the interest rate is pretty low, right? When things get upset like they are now, the U.S. has to pay out higher interest to its bondholders. So we're basically, right? And I say we, I guess, I am a citizen, right? We basically, as a country, are indebted to other countries that hold our treasury bonds.
Right.
And we have to pay because they invested in America.
Right.
And it was driven by the petrodollar being backed by the oil. In order to buy the oil, you got to convert your money to dollars. So they hold, so basically forces them to invest in America, even when they don't want to.
Because they need the oil.
Because they need the oil. So that debt, and so here's the thing. Normally that would be a problem because how do you pay your interest when we're not taking in enough revenue? Well, they can print money whenever they want, right? There was some stuff I had posted about Jekyll Island. There's a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. It talks about how they came up with this fiat that's not really backed by anything.
Right.
And that's where the Federal Reserve and the Rothschild banking system comes in. And it's a big, I'm summarizing a lot. It's a big, long cluster F of a trail, but it all ties back to why they go into these countries a lot of the times, right? And it's not just the spirit that they have of world dominance, but you would have to ask yourself if things like capitalism and socialism have such good intentions, one, why have they failed? And two, why is it seen as such a horrible thing when a country's communist or socialist?
Right.
It's not affecting you. You live in a capitalist country. Why are you so upset of a country that's trying to run their economics different? It goes against the status quo. What you're saying is we're not going to run it the way you want. And then what it really goes into is the class systems, right? I'm summarizing a lot. This has to be brought out in a different way. Maybe next week that'll be the main focus. I don't know. Like I said, maybe. There's a lot going on in the earth.
Hey, D, before you give them the juice, I mean, our likes are at 271, and we got almost 500 people.
Oh yeah, y'all gotta hit them likes up. If you want to know the rest of what I'm talking about, y'all gotta hit them likes up.
Let's go, man. Get them up.
Y'all gotta get them likes up. Look, I didn't even get my like. I just get my like. All right, y'all gotta get them likes up. You know, y'all up in here, all the emojis and everything like that, all praises.
Right.
But hit them likes. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So anytime you're going to go against something that disrupts that, they're going to have an issue with it, right? Hey, that's funny. Did I post that or you found that? Keep that. Keep that for a second. Keep that for a second. And so one of the ways they're able to do that is because everybody has to invest in the dollar, right? Now, it's gone down quite a bit, but it's still by and far. I think the euro's 20% of the world's reserve. The dollar's now at 56%, which is still ridiculous. And, you know, they keep talking about China and the yuan, but it's only 2% of the world's currency, right? Like it's, you know, they talk about that they're going to overtake economically and everything like that. It's not what the Bible says, first and foremost. And so much else would have to be upended for that to be the case, right? And it's going to get there. They're in the age of decadence. I gave the show about, you know, we ran the doomsday clock back and we went over that stuff.
Yep.
So there's this whole dynamic of them having to maintain that, because if any country could be successful with another economic system, and remember, I did the show. I think it was a very well received show as far as views and stuff. But I think y'all got to go back and really watch that one, because I spoke about Bible economics, right?
Right.
Which communism and socialism, though they would not acknowledge it and it's not documented that way, it's kind of modeled off of the egalitarian biblical system, right? Can you look up egalitarian just so we can bring that back? And then I'm going to get to my point. I'm summarizing a lot. I'm not spending time going deep on this, just so you can get a little foundation so that you can understand what's really behind such vitriol for such a small island nation like Cuba.
Right.
That's not like Venezuela that has a bunch of oil to offer.
Right.
But what Cuba represents. And it's kind of like the mole that you can never remove, you know, the sibling that everybody's ashamed of, type of thing, and why it's such a pariah for the United States that they can still exist with something that's not a capitalist society.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And thrive the way they have, right? And when I say thrive, it's not first world thriving.
Right.
But they thrive.
It's easy. It's easy once you've tasted the first world to look down on them. But kind of, you know, ignorance is bliss is kind of true. And if they've never experienced what that's like, to them, some of them have had a good life. But anyway, there's more to it. There's more nuance. I don't want to blanket it, because I know there's Cubans that feel strongly one way or the other. And my goal today is to focus on Rubio and the history of the Cuban migration and why you have this, why you might see some Cubans that you think, remember I said you had Ted Cruz and you had Marco Rubio and there's other, you can't automatically say they Edom, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But look, egalitarian is what the Bible economics are, right? So read that.
Egalitarian, relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
And if the Bible is not that, I don't know what is.
Right.
Because it really is, right? Everybody's judged and measured equally. There's no respect of persons. Right. Yep. Same thing with the economics. There's economic rules that we have. You know, you read about it and it deals with jubilees, but that's the foundation of our economy, right?
Right.
Socialism and communism are kind of loosely based on that, but then what tends to happen is that it gets centralized in power and it doesn't work the right way, right? Again, I'm summarizing. I wanted to go over the AI summaries of these things and stuff like that, but I might not get to that today, all right? So part of the reason that no socialist China's communist and they've done pretty well, but no socialist economy has ever really been largely successful. And I say part, not the whole, but a big part of it is because they get sanctioned when they have policies that are not capitalistic type of policies, right? You're accepted. You're in the good old guys club with the United States and the world powers if you run capitalist type or capitalist hybrid type system.
Right.
If you try to do anything else that equalizes the class systems, right, they come against that. And it makes it that much more difficult when you have el bloqueo and things like sanctions and stuff like that, right? Get me that about the mark.
Yep.
In Revelation. 13. And let's start at
17.
Hold on. I might want to. Yeah, start at 16. All right.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond.
Right. This is going into nations, not individual people.
Right.
He's talking about nations, right? Damn. Where's the verse that she sits on many waters?
17.
Yeah, 17. I'm going to show you, give you some context for this. Revelation 17.
15. 17 and 15.
But start at 1.
The book of Revelation.
15 explains 1. Start at 1.
Chapter 17 and verse 1. There came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Right, so that great whore, it goes into read 5.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead.
Start at 4.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Right, so it's kind of similar to for Statue of Liberty. It's showing you that, and it's letting you know that this is the world's most powerful, most wealthiest nation, right? Remember, we just spoke in summary about how they maintain that dominance, right? It's economically, and then because of those economics, they're able to create awe-inspiring weapons as if they were God, right? Go ahead, come on.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery.
Mystery, because the name of that nation was not evident in this vision. Go ahead, come on.
Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Right, they compared it to Babylon. Go ahead, come on.
The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Right, so this is the whore that sits on many waters. Jump to verse 15.
Verse 15, and he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Now, go back to Revelation 13 and 16, because what I said was it's not talking about individual people, right? It's talking about collectives of people, right? Right. The U.S. military bases around the world, great graphic. This is the whore that sits upon many waters. I think they said, I don't know if it's England that has the second most, and by far it's not as much as I think it's 176 or something like that bases around the world.
Compared to
The,
850?
the U.S. controls about 850, right?
more,
And that's what we know about.
Right.
Right. There's another book. I never got into it, but I got it just in case. It's like How to Hide an Empire. And it shows you all the territories that the U.S. has that people don't talk about because you only think of the 50 United States. And it talks about all the bases, right? So the reason they like to have base, that was part of their strategy. If we have bases, we can dominate and deploy anywhere we need to, right? And it sets us up quickly, right? It sets us up quickly. So again, their foresight for war and things like that, very strong, right? So go back to Revelation 13 and read 16.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And it causeth all, both small and great.
Big nations like Venezuela, who has more money, nations like Iran, who are massive, even places like Russia and China, right? He kind of cripples them, the European Union, and small like Cuba. Go ahead, come on.
Rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Right, so the mark is not going into some digital chip or anything like that. All right, you're going to get the precept for me? Go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 10 and verse 14. If I sin, then thou markest me.
Right. So if you accept of her sin, remember it said her cup was full of her abominations and fornications, right? In Revelation 17, it says, if I sin, then thou markest me. The mark is their sin. If you partake in her ideologies and in her things, with it comes things like the transgenderism, homosexuality, all types of sin, right? Because let me tell you what else is sin. Having economic systems that subjugate certain people and you don't have that egalitarian equality. Because remember how I said even when we had captives, they had to be certain rules that we had to deal with them by, right? So even in that, there were certain things that were set up a certain way. There's always justice, right? And when they have to get double, that's justice, right? When you know what I'm saying? Like that's justice for what's been done to us. Now, come on, go back.
Verse 17. Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Meaning you had to be a part of their ideological system. This goes into what I'm going to lead into with Cuba, right? That's why it's really important that you understand this. The mark is not going into some chip. We all got chips. Now, I got chips on my credit card.
Right.
I got a chip in my phone.
Come on.
We all you ain't never used your Apple Pay or any, right? Your wallet or whatever, your Google Pay, whatever the hell you got. We all got chips. Right. That's not what it's talking about, okay? And it's talking about the nations, right? It's talking about the nations. That's a good picture. Save it. All right. Go ahead. Come on. We'll use it in a little bit.
You want verse 18?
Read 17 again.
17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast.
Right. So this is the bloqueo, the embargoes, the sanctions that they put forth. Now you can show that picture with Cuba, right? And so like I was saying, whenever you try to use a different economic system, they're going to come against you, right? Anytime any country has nationalized their resources, like meaning because to nationalize it means you don't let private companies own it. The government owns it, and then they distribute the wealth of that to run the government.
That's what Venezuela
A result of that is that maybe you don't need income taxes. Maybe you don't collect taxes from your citizens. Maybe you collect taxes from other ways and things like that, right? But the reason they will never do something like that here in America is because of the capitalist structure and how that works, right? It enriches an elite. It is a real thing. It enriches an elite. It enriches certain families to keep them in power. This is the embargo, right? This is the United States. You see this picture here? That's Cuba. This is basically almost impossible for anything to get in and out where they can be productive as far as trade, right? And the UN goes to show you like all these things don't have any power. Who sits at the head of it? They call it veto power. And the United States is one of the few that has broad veto power against anything as they sit on the United Nations, meaning even if they all got together and said, we want to pass this, the United States could say nah.
Kick rocks.
So it's all bullshit. It's all BS. It's all BS.
Wild.
But I'm telling you, the way they set the when you think about frame mischief by law, a lot of times we'll do something simple like because a cop killed somebody and got away with it or whatever. That thing is way bigger than the way we use that scripture, right? It's so much grander than that, and it deals with all these type of aspects of things, right? So now, Marco Rubio is one of the guys that's been pushing this, right? And I'm going to get to him in a second. I want to just read a little bit about this. So they've stepped up the embargo, by enforcing it. So there's a difference between saying that you have sanctions and then actually enforcing the sanctions. What they've done since they got control of Venezuela is they've started to police the sanctions now, right? So now they've sent the Navy out, the Coast Guard, and things like that, and they're actually stopping ships from bringing vital supplies, and they've imposed threats and retaliatory tariffs and sanctions on any company and on any country that tries to help Cuba. So Mexico backed off, Venezuela backed off. They were getting oil from them, right? Russia's still been trying, but Russia would try it with like what they call shadow fleets, where they'll fly under a different flag of another country. I read something today that they're actually sending a Russian ship to see if they try to stop it, because it's an act of war if they stop a Russian ship.
That's right.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Russia has like some barrels of oil that they're trying to get to Cuba, and they've been getting some here and there. So because they've been sporadic, so their power system, because of the embargo and lack of development, runs on oil. Their electric grid. So let's read this real quick a little bit.
Cuba's national electric grid collapses, leaving millions without power. 9 days ago.
Scroll down. Showing you some pictures here. Go ahead, keep going. There'll be some words that pop up soon, right? Now, I'm not going to show it today. Maybe next week. My plan is to still try to talk about Cuba. I had pictures. Did you send it to them, or you only sent it to me, the Cuba pictures?
Just to you.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so for next week, some people might not know. I want to say it was 2017, maybe 16 or 17. Myself, Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Kanai, Captain Cornelius, some other brothers. Eli, I think, was on that trip. Soldier Eli was on that trip. We got to go to Cuba under Obama because he opened it up. And we went there to try to teach. We've told the story before. Maybe I'll tell the story next week. Some people might not realize we got arrested in Cuba. We got detained in Cuba. I thought I was never coming back. Maybe I'll tell that story. Some people know. Some people are newer and they don't know. And we got to go to Cuba. Right. We got to go to Cuba and see what it was like. So we have a little bit of an idea of what it's like. And we got to speak to people and things like that. But we taught in Cuba. We got arrested in Cuba for teaching the truth. And we were surveilled and everything because their hotels are government owned.
Right. Yep.
So that's part of how they have their communist / socialist setup over there. That's part of it. And you know, it's a bad thing when you're being watched. It's a good thing because what they do is they try not to tax the people. So they own these type of things that private companies would normally own. And private companies here in the States get all these type of tax breaks. Even though they do pay a lot of taxes, there's a lot of loopholes for them to minimize their tax liabilities. And then what winds up happening is countries that have socialist, communist type of governments, they try to control and nationalize resources and do these things because they don't want to tax the people. Right. They try to generate the revenue from other things. But anyway, let's read this a little bit.
By Dave Sherwood. Havana, March 16th, Reuters. Cuba's national electric grid collapsed on Monday. The country's grid operator said, leaving around 10 million people without power amid a U.S.-imposed oil blockade that has crippled the island's already obsolete generation system. Grid operator UNE said on social media it is investigating the causes of the blackout, the latest in a series of widespread outages that last for hours or days, and that this weekend sparked a rare, violent protest in the communist-run country.
All right, so I just wanted to read a little bit about that. But basically, they're having to ration power based on the oil that they get, right? So they run it off of petrol, their electric grid, okay? So the generators run off of oil. And they're policing the sanctions that they've had on them now, and it's making it harder for any oil to arrive. Right. So what that really means is what? That means... remember, Cuba has one of the best medical systems in the world, despite all this stuff with blockades. That means there's people that can't get their chemo treatment. There's babies in the intensive care unit that don't have power to run their machines. Right. There's, you know, it's not just people in their homes without powers. And, you know, I mean, Northern Kingdom, so-called Latino people are very resilient. Like we know how to kind of make things work or whatever it is. A lot of ingenuity. You know, they've been running, you know, they have those classic cars and they run them by like jimmy rigging parts and stuff like that because you can't get parts for those cars anymore and stuff. I remember when we hired 2 drivers that had those classic era cars that drove us around while we were there. When I show the picture files next week, you'll see some of what we experienced there. And they had to figure out ways to make things happen. Like they invent things and they do things, so they're resilient. But the point is, it's really starting to affect them now. Like it's really crushing them to the point that they started to open up talks. Right, this was a little old because my intent was to go over this last week and even the week before, but the show got taken up by the Iran stuff more than this. So, now, so they're in a bad state, right? And a lot of it's driven by Marco. Can you look up I thought I put a link for him, Marco Rubio. If not, just look him up, and then we'll put the Wikipedia, right? I'll see how much of this I'm able to get out with the long history. Still got time, but all right. So this guy, right, so-called Cuban American, his parents came from Cuba, and he was born in Miami, right? Let's read a little bit about him, just the intro. Go ahead, come on.
Marco Antonio Rubio, born May 28, 1971, is an American politician, attorney, and diplomat serving since 2025 as the 72nd United States Secretary of State. He is also the acting National Security Advisor. A member of the Republican Party, Rubio represented Florida in the U.S. Senate from 2011 to 2025.
Now, scroll down to where it says due to his influence in the U.S. policy.
Due to his influence on U.S. policy on Latin America during the first Trump administration, he was described as a virtual Secretary of State for Latin America. He is also considered to have been one of Congress's most hawkish members with regard to China and the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese government sanctioned him twice in 2020, and he is banned from entering China. Rubio became Florida's senior senator in January 2019, following the defeat of former Senator Bill Nelson, and was reelected to a third term in 2022, defeating Democratic nominee Val Deming in a landslide victory. Rubio endorsed Trump for president in 2024, days before the Iowa caucuses. In November 2024, President-elect Trump announced his intention to nominate Rubio to be Secretary of State in his second administration.
All right, so stop. Go down. Go to early life and education. Look, scroll up. Read from he is the first Latino. Last sentence in that top paragraph.
He is the first Latino to serve as a Secretary of State or act as National Security Advisor, making him the highest-ranking Hispanic American official in the U.S. history.
All right, so scroll down. Let's read a little bit about this. Go ahead, come on.
Early life and education. Marco Antonio Rubio was born in 1971 in Miami, Florida. He is the second son and third child of Mario Rubio Reina and Aureales Ne Garcia Rubio. His parents were Cubans of Spanish and Italian descent.
Right, so pay attention to that because that's going to play into when I go into the pages from the book, which is what I'm going to want after this, that explains what happened here, right? Go ahead.
Who immigrated to the United States in 1956 during the regime of
Fulgencio
Batista.
All right, so Fulgencio means like bright, shining. Okay, so his name was Fulgencio Batista. Go ahead, come on.
2.5 years before Fidel Castro ascended to power after the Cuban Revolution. His mother made at least 4 return trips to Cuba after Castro's takeover, including a month-long trip in 1961, and a return to Cuba had been planned before the changes in their native country. Rubio's parents were not U.S. citizens at the time of Rubio's birth. They were naturalized in 1975. Some relatives of Rubio's were admitted to the U.S. as refugees.
Right. So I know it might seem like, okay, we're just reading. What do I care about this guy? It's important that you understand his early life history.
Right.
Because I was talking with Bishop about this, and I'm going to explain it in a second. And I explained to Bishop where this comes from with this guy, right? Go ahead. Come on.
Rubio's maternal grandfather, Pedro Victor Garcia, immigrated to the U.S. legally in 1956, but returned to Cuba to find work in 1959. When in 1962, he fled communist Cuba and returned to the U.S. without a visa. He was detained as an undocumented immigrant, and an immigration judge ordered him to be deported. But immigration officials reversed their decision later that day, and the deportation order was not enforced. Instead, Garcia was reclassified to the legal status of parolee that allowed him to stay in the U.S. He reapplied for permanent resident status in 1966 after the Cuban Adjustment Act passed, and his residency was approved. Rubio had a close relationship with his grandfather during his childhood.
So what I want you to look at, if you haven't got it already, is that, and I'm going to explain when we go into it in the pages in the book, he was largely shaped by what happened to his family when Castro came to power, okay? And there was a big switch. And why is that significant? I'm going to explain, right? I'm going to explain. There's a certain sect of Cubans that came right before and during Castro's revolution that benefited greatly under Batista. Leave this up. Leave this up. I'm not done. At least for me, leave it up. We're going to go back to it. That shaped his ideology. And a lot of the Cubans that you see in Florida that support Trump and support these things, I'm going to show you. It's two things. Remember, I spoke about blanqueamiento and all the whitening and the mixing, right? Remember, I said you can't always say that they're all Edom. But the reality is a lot of them are either Edom, right? Descendants of Edom, Spanish or Italian, like we read. In this particular case. With other European countries. And some of them are light-skinned and are Israel, but they benefited, going back to bourgeoisie and Herodians, they benefited from the policies that created this classism under Batista, right? And we're going to read a little bit about Batista, maybe not today, I'll see. Maybe we'll read the summaries today and then I'll get to the book. And I'm going to tell you why it's important and why this guy is so against his own people in Cuba and what he wants to do. His background comes from that, right? His background comes from that. Keep reading.
In October 2011, the Washington Post reported that Rubio's previous statements that his parents were forced to leave Cuba in 1959 after Fidel Castro came to power were falsehoods.
Right. So that was the story that he used. I think they twisted it up, going back to that Mouth of the Dragon stuff,
right?
Because they try to clean it up a little bit, right? And I'm going to show you, again, when I get to the Harvest of Empire book, what happened with the Cuban immigration, how those first immigrants that came from Cuba during the Cuban Revolution were the wealthy elite. Some were white, Edom. Some were actual Manessa, but they benefited under the previous regime. And if they benefited, what that means is they had private businesses, they had corporations, they were wealthy families that did well. When Castro came to power, he nationalized all those. There was no that you could own a little mom and pop, but you were not going to own these mega corporations and get rich off the people. So he took everything they had, basically, and gave it to the people. He was Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Right?
Okay.
Robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. At least that's how they tell you Robin Hood was. The real story behind Robin Hood's different, but he was like Robin Hood, right? And that's the term that we use today, and we understand it, so I'll use that. He was like Robin Hood.
Right.
That affected his family. That means they spoke about it forever. He grew up in that environment, right?
Yep.
So his mind is, I need to get back at this because this is what they did. This goes into you wonder why I spent so much time talking about the capitalism and everything else.
He was shaped by that.
He was shaped by that. He was shaped by that, right? Yes, right? He was shaped by that. Now, I'll go back and read about Fulgencio and Fidel later. Let me get the pages from the book, The Harvest of Empire, right? Harvest of Empire. I did post them. Good. So many years ago, I did a show about this, and I went over this, right? This is when we were in the other studio, right? And most people won't read. I haven't read the whole book straight through. Some sections are dry, but it is broken down pretty good that if you wanted to read just certain segments, it's pretty good. If you want the condensed version of this, you can watch the documentary. And the documentary, I think, is free online. And it focuses on why so many Latinos came to the United States and still continue to come. And it goes into stuff I've spoken about before, the School of the Americas, the destabilization. It goes into the Monroe Doctrine and all this stuff, and how they trained a lot of dictators or supported them, if not actually trained them in the School of the Americas, right? Now, Bautista allegedly was not a graduate of the School of Americas, so they say, but he was backed by them, right? And we'll read that when we go into his history. So why is that significant? Well, I just told you Rubio's family benefited from them, right? So he's from this, I'm going to show you the first wave of immigrants that came that were of the lighter skin, wealthy, elite variety that were received with open arms in America. The ones that came after were poorer, more diverse in color, mostly darker skinned, and they were shitted on, for lack of a better term. Right? Those are the Scarface ones and everything else, and they try to portray them as that they went to drug. And it's true, they probably went into, some of them did, you know what I'm saying? Or people are wise to do evil sometimes. Anyway, let's get to the first page. Let's read about Cuba. So basically, the rest of the show is going to go into a little history of this, right? And then it'll line it up for more detail next week, right? I'm trying to show you the threads as to why Cuba, a little islands, right? Remember, we read small and great is so significant. And you would think, what's the big deal that they're capitalists? They were doing fantastic for a while. It wasn't until the 90s that I think things changed because the Soviet Union collapsed. And that Comecon, right, which was like their version of BRICS or the G7, fell apart. So the economic might of communist countries that they had together, that they helped each other with resources, fell when the Soviet Union collapsed in the 90s. And that's when Cuba started to go downhill. Prior to that, Cuba was booming under that socialist, communist, egalitarian society. And remember I said it's the wart, it's the mole, it's the sibling that you don't want to. It showed that there was another way. Other than the American way, other than the American system and being subject to that, right? So it's not just that we don't like the economics of it. It will disrupt their power structure because if one little country can do it, somebody else might get the idea to do it. And now it changes the way the global economy is set up. And now you don't have the same level of globalism. And now it's a threat to your power and your hegemony of being the top rulers. Right.
And when other people tried to do it, they took care of it.
Now, come on, next page. Let's read. We'll just read the highlighted sections to go through it. You can read the top, the quote. So this is Cubans. They call them special refugees, right? Read that quote.
Few immigrant groups have commenced their economic adaptation to American life from a position of such relative advantage.
The Rubio's class of Cuban immigrants, right? So come on, let's read. We'll read the highlighted parts. Come on.
During the summer of 1994, thousands of Cubans appeared off the Florida coast in a flotilla of wooden rowboats, makeshift rafts, and automobile tires lashed together with rope. Each day that summer, the U.S. Coast Guard reported astonishing jumps in the number of Cuban balseros trying to reach our shores.
They call them balseros like rafters, like they were coming in makeshift rafts.
Are these the banana boats?
The banana boats.
Okay.
The exodus quickly overwhelmed Florida's immigration centers, which were already straining to cope with a stream of desperate Haitian boat people, and it fueled a growing national debate over immigration.
Right. So what wound up happening was it was only 90 miles from the Florida Keys, so they would put together rafts and take their chances. Right.
They were
taking their chances, right? Because what happened? And everything collapsed in the 90s because the Soviet Union collapsed. So things started to get really bad, right? Things started to get really bad.
They start fleeing.
Right. I think they call it the special period or something like that. There's a term that they have for what happened in Cuba. But anyway, actually, you could read a little bit so we know who it's talking about when it says President Clinton.
President Clinton reacted by doing what no U.S. president had ever done. He ordered a halt to the special treatment of Cuban refugees. For more than 30 years, a succession of presidents had dispensed unprecedented financial aid to those fleeing Cuba.
Right. So they were given preferential treatment because it was in their interest. And I'm not going to get into Northwoods and the other stuff tonight, but remember that I want to lead off with Northwoods and Operation Mongoose, just so you can see how deep this thing goes. and you realize that this is something that's been like an obsession for the United States, and especially for people like Marco Rubio and other Cubans that will celebrate what's happening over there right now. Right? But go ahead, come on.
During that time, Congress had financed numerous efforts by the refugees to topple Fidel Castro's communist regime. And the CIA had employed many of them as trusty Cold War foot soldiers. Neither Dominicans fleeing the Civil War of 1965, nor Haitians fleeing the terror of Papa Doc, Duvalier, and a string of Haitian military juntas got comparable treatment. Washington routinely rejected asylum requests from Haitians picked up at sea, while it invariably granted asylum to far smaller numbers of Cuban balseros. Under Clinton, many Haitians were even forcibly returned to their country.
Right, and Haitians are still treated that
Right,
way.
man.
It's terrible. I laugh because we joke about Levi, but Levi be catching hell, bro, to this day, right? I know it's not highlighted, but it's underlined. We're going to keep reading that. Go ahead, come on.
But in 1994, the Cuban red carpet was pulled. By then, American fixation with the Cold War was over.
Right, because the Soviet Union collapsed.
Right,
so there was no, no, they weren't
forget about it.
So they accepted them because it was to their benefit to try to screw the regime that's down there, right? And they were, Cold War, we got to help these people or whatever it is. Even though people in Haiti were going through rough things and same type of things, but it had not, there was no economic benefit for them in Haiti. Right? There was no thing that they could deal with it. So they said, all right. But anyway, go ahead. Come on.
Fear of immigration hordes was replacing dread of communist guerrillas. Henceforth, Clinton said, Cubans trying to reach the U.S. illegally would be detained and denied automatic entry just like any other immigrants. By the time he made his announcement, more than 1 million Cubans were living in the United States.
Right. Go ahead. Now, get to the next one. Come on.
The balseros of 1994 were actually the fifth major wave of Cubans to land on our shores since thousands of tobacco workers migrated here during Cuba's independence wars in the 19th century.
Come on, jump down to the next highlighted part.
Each has been so distinctive in its social composition.
So each wave, there was 5 waves. Socially, they were all distinct, right? They were all a different type of people in color and race, as well as their social status, right? Go ahead, come on.
Composition and political outlook that the Cuban diaspora is perhaps the most complex of all Latino immigrant sagas. The refugees of the 1960s and 1970s were largely from the upper and middle classes and brought with them enormous technical skills.
So these were doctors, lawyers, engineers, and things like that that benefited under Fulgencio Batista's regime, right? But he was a dictator as well, right? Because he had the support of the United States. I might not get to it today, maybe a little bit of it. I'll see. The time is still all right. I want to try to stop around 10. So the end, and when I say upper and middle class, I'm not going to say they will all eat them, but a large portion of them were of the European descent of Cubans, right? So they were received differently.
Right.
They were given different benefits. They were able to get bank loans and different things like that. We're going to read some of that, all right? They were able to, so you wonder how they started businesses, how they got so ingrained in Miami and Southern Florida and things like that. A lot of them are wealthy, and Ted Cruz comes from that ilk as well, and Marco Rubio does as well, and they became very strong in that regard. Now, some of them were our people, and I'm going to show you that because they did try to help regardless of color and class, the Cubans that were here. I'm not saying they were all of that, but it says largely they were from that upper class. So these were people who were against Castro, all right? Which is another reason they were received. Go ahead. So those advantages.
Those advantages, together with the massive aid the federal government dispensed to them, turned Cubans into this country's most prosperous Hispanic immigrants.
So now you get a little understanding into their mind why they supported and historically support Republicans and people like Trump and so on and so forth, right? Because these are the generations, the children of, and you're really talking about the next gen, because these are people that were born in the 70s. This is the next generation that came from these well-to-do immigrants that the United States was good to them at that time. So they're they don't see it as that it was something bad, right? The newer, younger generation is starting to see the differences. But a lot of these people that voted and things like that, they either A, eat them, or B, they were people who benefited and grew up with that mindset that America's great. Look at what we were able to do here, right? And America received us and gave us this, that, and the other. Go ahead, come on.
Beginning with the Mariel Bo wave in 1980. However, the Cubans who came were generally poorer and darker skinned.
So that's the Scarface era, right? And, of course, they put white people to play our people because even in America at that time, they weren't being very favorable to Latinos in movies either, right? So you have like the Scarface story and everything like that, right? Which is an adaptation from another story, but it deals with, they made it about the Cuban refugees, right? Go ahead, come on.
Los Marielitos, as they were called, confronted a nativist backlash among white Americans and burgeoning class and racial conflicts within their own refugee community.
So the white ones started to go against the dark ones, right? Classic colorism, especially in the Latino community. Go ahead, come on.
Making their experience more comparable to that of other Latino immigrants.
Right. So meaning that first wave of Cubans that came, they pretty much benefited, and it wasn't like the rest of the Latinos that came, right? Scroll.
They're like the house Negroes.
Yeah, go down. Yeah. Okay, next page. There we go. Go ahead.
The first Cuban migration to the United States is nearly forgotten these days. It occurred during the late 19th century.
Right. So I'm sorry. So that's the second wave was the Rubio's family. The first wave actually happened earlier, right? Go ahead. Come on.
When more than 100,000 people, 10% of Cuba's population, fled abroad to escape the upheavals of the independence wars.
Right. Because Spain, after the Spanish-American War, pulled out. United States was focused on Puerto Rico in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then they started to turn their eyes to other areas and things like that. They weren't really focused on Cuba yet, right? So it's letting you know that a bunch came then, right? So start here, the 1959 revolution.
The 1959 revolution, however, sparked immediate flight. Some 215,000 left for the United States in the first 4 years.
Why? Because these were the ones that they were losing their businesses, their empires, and their wealth under Castro, right? Go ahead, come on.
Thousands more went to Spain and Latin America. The first wave was composed of the most wealthy managers of U.S. corporations.
Because the U.S. had a strong influence there, which is why they backed Batista, right? We'll get into that history at some point. Go ahead, come on.
The officers of dictator Batista's army and police, doctors, lawyers, scientists, and their families. Metropolitan Miami's Hispanic population skyrocketed from a mere 50,000 in 1960 to more than 580,000 in 1980.
You could read few immigrants from there.
Few immigrant groups have commenced their economic adaptation to American life from a position of such relative advantage, wrote sociologist Alejandro Portes in a study of Cubans and Miami. The U.S. government provided a shelf full of government assistance programs under the 1966 Cuban Adjustment Act, programs that Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and other Latinos never received.
Right. So, this class of Cubans that came during these years, again, they benefited largely. They were given, they talk about pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
They were catered to almost, right? Go ahead, come on.
The refugees became instantly eligible for public assistance, Medicaid, food stamps, free English courses, scholarships, and low-interest college loans they could secure immediately.
Damn.
They could secure
immediate business credit and startup loans.
You could be born here and you can't get business credit now.
Bruh.
You could be born here now.
Straight up.
And it's almost impossible to get business credit and startup loans. Go ahead, come on.
The state of Florida went even further. It provided direct cash allotments for Cuban families. Dade County opened civil service lists to non-citizens. The University of Miami Medical School even started a special programs to help Cubans meet licensing requirements.
Right, and it was because a lot of them were seen as victims of communism, and they were light-skinned like them, most of them. So they were all right with it. Go ahead, come on.
Many of the refugees found additional assistance from covert programs of the Central Intelligence Agency.
Hands all up in
Yes. Go ahead.
In those early days, both President John Kennedy and the exiles were confident Castro's revolution would be quickly overthrown.
And it wasn't. This is why I say it's a blight in their eye, because it's 60 years later, right?
They still fight.
So go ahead, come on.
Thanks to the unique combination of their own skills and federal Legres. The early exiles set about creating the Cuban miracle in Miami. Within a few short years, the sleepy resort along Biscayne Bay was transformed into a commercial boomtown and a nexus for international trade. Cuban entrepreneurs who started their new life in this country with a small grocery or jewelry store quickly moved into banking, construction, and garment manufacturing. Some went to work for major U.S. firms and launched those firms into the Latin American market. Others served as real estate or banking agents in the United States for rich South Americans.
Right, for other wealthy elite and other Edomites, right, that are of citizens of Latin America, but not part of Israel and not indigenous. Go ahead, come on.
At the same time, the refugees developed an intensely loyal internal market among their own. More than any other Hispanic immigrants, Cubans hired workers and purchased goods from within their own community.
So in that respect, they did keep the money within themselves, right? You notice when I had read it years ago, I put Acts, I thought about how they had all things common and everything, right?
So that's Brown Wall Street.
It was Brown Wall Street. Yes. Go ahead, come on.
Those who managed to get loan officer positions at small Miami banks made sure to lend startup funds to fellow refugees who could not secure credit from Anglo lenders. They did so by pioneering the character loan. An exile who didn't have collateral or credit could get a business loan based on his background or standing in Cuba. The borrowers proved to be impeccable risks, and the loan policy turned many Cuban bank officers into millionaires.
Meaning they weren't nookers and they paid their money, they paid their loans, right? You know how people now be like, "Ah, the hell with it, I ain't paying that." You know what I'm saying? Whatever. They actually paid their loans, right? And they did those type of things. So they in some respect they were able to help each other out to some extent, but you have to understand that it was largely driven by white elites, right, and elites that were non-white, that were of the brown variety as well, right? Is there any more pages of this that I had? Go ahead.
Exiles who were barred from joining unions by the racist father and son policies,
which is largely like Irish, Italians, because they had a monopoly on a lot of the unions for trades, right? Go ahead, come on.
Of the building trades turned instead to pick up construction jobs among their own people. As the community grew, so did the mom and pop building partnerships. By 1979, half of the major construction companies in Dade County were Cuban owned.
See, if you move in the way that the Bible says you should move economically, everybody prospers.
Right.
But when you try to be capitalist, right? Go ahead, come on.
By 1987, there were 61,000 Hispanic-owned firms in Miami with gross receipts of $3.8 billion.
Brown Wall Street.
The largest by far of any city in the United States. The Cuban refugees were warmly welcomed and during the 1960s and 1970s by a nation caught up in the fever of the Cold War. But that welcome changed almost overnight in 1980. As television news started to broadcast pictures of the Mariel boat people. More than 125,000 Cubans entered the country during the 4 months of the Mariel flight. The new refugees America realized were no longer from the island's elite.
They said, wait a second. They're starting to not look like us.
Right. Yeah. Wait a minute.
What's going on here? Go ahead, come on.
They were largely poor, black
like this,
unskilled, and in some cases mentally ill or dangerous felons. Fidel Castro, according to some reports, took the opportunity to rid himself not just of dissidents, but of criminals as well.
And I don't know if you remember hearing Trump sometimes when he goes on his rants and he says they empty their prisons and psychiatric institutions, right? And they send them here. He's getting that from Rubio because of what happened here with the Cubans at that time, right? And some of that was true. Castro was sending right. So he did, but he tries to say that they all do that now, and we know that that's not the case because we know some of these people that make this journey and do this stuff and so on and so forth. So Castro started. It was a strategy that he had, right? And he said, I'm going to send them all the nut jobs, right? But go ahead, come on.
Racial attitudes combined with economic fear.
No, read for the first time?
Yes, sir. For the first time, Cuban arrivals found a hostile reception and were dispersed to more than a dozen army bases scattered about the country. Racial attitudes combined with economic fears, the sight of so many new refugees entering the country at a time of high unemployment and angered many Americans. That anger grew when the refugees, frustrated with the cold treatment they were receiving, mounted noisy protests at several detention centers.
Right, so that's like the scenes that you see in Scarface where they were under the bridges in tent cities and stuff like that, right? That's basically what they were talking about. Go ahead. I recall visiting
one refugee processing
I know
center.
it's a lot of reading, but I'm trying to set something up so that you can understand where this motivation comes from. And like I said, I got to lay a lot of foundation so that then I can next week kind of come back and I got some more scriptures to tie to you to what this motivation is. Remember, my goal is to show you, right, how the sanctions and the system is what crushed what was going on in Cuba, right? And they try to make it seem like, you know, you got all these freaking morons talking about, oh, well, we're doing it for noble causes, for freedom for their people, and their people are oppressed, and this, that, and the other. Who are they oppressed by? Get that picture that you put up about how the CIA, how socialism and whatever don't work because of what? Who are they oppressed by? Go ahead, come on.
Communism is good in theory, but in practice, it usually just ends up being destroyed in a military coup financed by the CIA.
Right. This is why they won't let any other type of, and I'm not saying that communism is good and things like that. I'm saying a more fair, equitable economic system, because when we dive into a little bit in communism and socialism next week, you see it's not just the CIA coup. Sometimes the consolidation of power like that with people that are corrupt kind of, you know, they get a little well-to-do. Right. Topples the system a little bit. But then in combination, you have the military coups financed by the CIA, right? Scratch that. Go ahead. Come on.
I recall.
Because of that. I recall. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I recall visiting one refugee processing center as a newspaper reporter that year and finding my own image of Cubans radically challenged.
By the way, this is written largely by, I forgot his name. He was a young lord. What's the cover say again? What was his name? Gonzalez? I forgot his first name. Juan Gonzalez. He was a young lord, which was like the Puerto Rican version of the Black Panthers, is what they say, right? Where basically he tried to fight for Puerto Rican rights and Latino rights and things like that, all right? So go ahead, go back. And he's on that Democracy Now! Program with that Edomite. He does a lot of features on there and stuff like that. He's the Latino guy, the Latino older guy that talks on that Democracy Now! YouTube thing. Go ahead, come on.
That image had been shaped by years of interaction on the streets of New York with the 1960s wave of refugees. Because of that experience, I had grown up believing that Cubans were usually white, well-educated, and somewhat arrogant toward Puerto Rican.
Because he was Puerto Rican. Right. So, you know, they had that elitist type of thing about them. He's dealing with that first wave, which is like the Marco Rubios, the Ted Cruzes. Go ahead, come on.
Over the years, a certain enmity had developed between the two communities. We Puerto Ricans were resentful that many barrio businesses and the better paying jobs in Spanish language media had been gobbled up by the new Cuban arrivals, both here and in our homeland. More than 60,000 Cubans settled in Puerto Rico during the 1960s.
So Ephraim and Manasseh, right? So Ephraim being Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, there was beef between them in some respect. And there's a lot of Manasseh, right? 60,000 sets, that changes some things. So some Manasseh, you know, a lot of times we're talking about we haven't been able to go to Cuba and stuff like that. Some Manasseh is in Puerto Rico believing that they're Puerto Ricans, right? So go ahead, come on.
So you can imagine my surprise when I encountered behind the barbed wire of Fort Indian Town
Gap. Go ahead, come on.
Pennsylvania. Several thousand Cubans, almost all of them black.
Right, so I went into the cake not turned, right? Because he said, wait a second, I seen a lot of white ones. Right. Now I'm seeing a whole bunch of black ones. Go ahead, come on.
All speaking in the same rapid-fire colloquial Spanish and with the same unaffected humility I had known among Puerto Ricans in Eastern.
So he's saying the similarities that he noticed between Ephraim and Manasseh, between Puerto Ricans and Cubans as well. Was that the last page on this? Okay, all right. So I wanted to establish that because I want you to see that Rubio comes from that ilk and that mindset. So you say, damn, this dude seems like he's such a traitor to his people. Well, so with that first wave, right? Because they benefited to a certain extent more than what the ones that came later did. Now, we're not going to have time to go into the Batista and the Batista stuff. I want to keep it reasonable. And it's a lot of information to digest. I think we went over a lot of stuff today. Yeah. So what I want to do next week is I'm going to dive deeper and show you how Batista was in power and came back to power by a CIA-sponsored coup, right? And then how Castro, along with the help of like Che Guevara and people of the like, came in and cleaned everything up. I mentioned to you, and this is not hearsay, because some people say, how do you know? I was there. We'll talk about that next week as well. I'm giving you a preview next week. I was there with some of the men. Some are not with us anymore. Some are still with us. And Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Kanai, and we spoke to people firsthand there. And when Castro took over, much like when Maduro took over, when I went over Venezuela, everybody got a house. We spoke to people there. We said, well, what's the rent? Well, we don't pay rent. My family owns this house. Like we pass it down to each other. We own this house. We own this. We own that. So there's trade-offs to what happened. And people will try to tell you, well, no, the capitalism is better because you could do this and that. But I mean, come on. Who can afford $2,000 a month rent?
Right.
On wages that don't meet up because of the way, like the system is broken, right?
Yep. Facts.
And they want to punish them because they've held out as long as they have, right? And like I said, China's probably one of the only ones that's like openly communist and has really done well, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Russia's kind of a hybrid now. They were communist for a long time and they did pretty well too. But it's not, you hear these words and you say, what do they have to do with us? It's the terms that they use. But it goes back to what I said in the beginning about how the global finance and how they maintain their power and the mark and everything else, right? So it still ties to the scriptures and empire, which I'll dive deeper next week into. So we'll spend some time on Batista. We'll spend some time on that. And I have more videos that we'll go into that talk about how they got you thinking one thing and it's really something else that's going on and so on and so forth with those things like that. So I think I'm going to stop there because it's a lot of information. Have that in your heads. Laws Will Life Last. Next week, I'll bring more out, and we'll continue on with the Cuba topic, right? The truth about Cuba.
All praises.
Fire.
All praises.
Y'all good? Nothing else right now, this moment?
I was going to tell you that all the stuff that you brought out, I found a reference in the scriptures that King Nebuchadnezzar did the same thing where he only wanted the best out of Jerusalem.
Okay.
And he left all the poor.
So bring it.
Yes, sir.
We could end it with that to set the tone for next week. Bring it.
I'll read it for you. It's quick. The book of 2 Kings 24 and verse 13 regarding Nebuchadnezzar. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remain save the poorest sorts of the people of the land.
Damn.
And then when you read, Deacon, when you read in 2 Kings 25, I wish it's going to take too long to find, but in 2 Kings 25, it talks about how he left the poor in the land so that they could work in the fields and the vineyards.
Yep.
Just like the Cubans who had to work in the sugarcane fields. Let the poor niggas do the hard work.
Yep.
We'll get all the rich niggas and we'll use them for the doctors and whatever else it may be.
Right. So, people be like, damn, how's he against his own people? I remember talking to Bishop about it. I said, Bishop, he's not really like us. I said, he came from that wave of Cubans that they benefited from that stuff or whatever. He's like, oh, snap, I didn't know that. I said, yeah. I said, he might be Esau. I said, and on top of that, if he's not, he came from that mindset of that second wave of Cubans. I keep saying first wave. The first wave was in the early 90s. That second wave of Cubans that benefited, that were pampered to. So, when you see those Cubans and you see them, they voted for Trump, 99% of the time is they either not Israel or they're the ones that are tied into the system, that they're tapped into the system. That's why they vote for them that way.
Yeah, that's heavy too because it's spiritual, like you said earlier. The Herodians and all them.
Herodians,
Same thing.
Yes.
They didn't like Christ, what he was bringing, because they're going to take away our place that we have in Rome. So.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Let them just alone.
Yep. Anyway.
You finished at 10. That's crazy. I thought you was going to go further.
I'm trying to, you know what it is, man? I know that it's a lot. And I know people say keep going, but like stuff gets lost.
Yeah.
Like it's just too, there's only but so much information you're going to process.
It's a lot of stuff.
And I think it's better that way, to kind of, move around. Next week, Lord's will I got my health stuff and whatever, but we started talking about that other stuff. The Spirit moved us in that direction, so which is good because I think this is a good stopping point. So, all right, what we got?
Oh my God.
Original royalty.
You got
Oh, snap. That's wild, bro. Oh, snap. Hey, I don't know if you were late to the show. You got to go back and see when, man, Officer Rouvain did a voiceover for the OR commercial, sounding straight up like Ralph Tresvant. I know some people joined later. You got to go back, bro. You got to go back. Oh, man. Hey, run the commercial back real quick. I got to hear the beginning of that. Run the commercial back. Run the commercial back.
God dang it.
Run the commercial back. I need to hear the beginning of that again, bro.
There's a feeling you recognize when you walk into a room and see your people.
Stop.
Oh, shoot.
There's a feeling you recognize when you walk into a room and you see your people.
Oh, snap.
Oh, man.
Got heartburn.
What else we got? Oh, snap. That's wild. Hey, that's a fantastic commercial, though, man. That's a fantastic commercial. Hey, dude, that's you.
Yeah, they supposed to put the other one first.
What happened to the
Y'all
Booster
out of
Club?
order.
Right. Oh, they did the social media first. They're supposed to do the Booster Club.
All right, well, anyways, make sure y'all subscribe to our Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Y'all know the message. Make sure we get them likes up. How much we at YouTube right now? We are at
32.2.
32.2.
Let's try to get to 35.
That's right. Let's keep bringing them numbers up.
Trying to get to 35.
All right, Instagram, all that. TikTok, hook us up. Like.
What else? You don't got the Booster Club one? Is that why that one was up?
I think that's why I didn't put it yet.
Oh. Did we have on the bottom at least? Can we put that so we can at least point to that and highlight to support the Booster Club? He's like, yes, we can find. They're short staffed. I'm not gonna curse them out today. They made us start late. See, I could have went to more stuff, but they made us start late. Right. So, hey, check out that little in the corner over there. All right. Right there in the corner. Do I got it? Yeah, there you go. And scan that QR code, or you can text to give support. If it is love, why do I feel this way?
You could.
Why does she stay on my mind?
Yeah.
If it is love.
Let's go. Come on.
Oh, snap. Sis is killing me. She quoting the lyrics. Oh, man. Now I'm gonna have to listen to that on Spotify on the way home. Oh, snap. Man, y'all support the Booster Club. Y'all support the show. All right. We trying to spread this word.
That's right.
See the midi-chlorians, the word of God, go out into the earth.
Right.
All right. That's the show. Y'all stay safe. Stay in the spirit. Hey, we got a monthly fast coming up. All right. If you know, you know. If you in the spirit, contribute to that fast. There's something powerful about us being in one accord, doing that stuff together. All right? Okay. All right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Bun sugar plum, pumpy yum. You're my sweetie pie. You're my...
Yo, that was a fatality.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwame Sharala. Hey, one nation, one nation. This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza. We one nation, one nation. This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwame Sharala. Hey, one nation, one nation. This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza. We one nation, one nation. It wouldn't be Israel without Mexicans. Black love, brown pride, cause we next to kin. We ain't gotta tell Esau to let's be friends, cause we above all nations and we better than them. We the salt of the earth, ayy, ayy. And we been king since birth, ayy, ayy. We put the kingdom first, ayy, ayy. And they gon' get this work, ayy, ayy. We was chosen, not cause we the most of the people. Few in numbers, but we over the people. We gods of this earth, we ain't supposed to be equal. Stop playing, you emotional people. The good gotta triumph over the evil. So my foot's on the throat of the eagle. Their tongues will confess that we the people. Cause my nation ain't never been fees.